What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another David Rams live stream. Hope you're all doing very, very well. Today, we've got a couple of videos to take a look at that I think you're going to find interesting and possibly a little bit frustrating. So first off, what we're going to be taking a look at is this one here. This is a video by this comedian, YouTuber, I don't know what he is, called Danny Mullen. He made this video called Danny Mullen versus Vegans, where basically in this video, they... I've only seen like a little bit of it. I've not seen all of it. They go out and prank vegans, basically, and try and trigger vegans. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to see, is there actually anything funny in this? Because he's supposed to be a comedian. Or is it just another example of trying to get clicks by dunking on vegans? You know, vegans, the group that everybody dunks on for easy clicks. So we're going to find out which is which with this one. Not just that as well. We're going to take a look at some other stuff. We're going to take a look at some other videos in here. We're going to have a look at these three here. Who the hell do you think you are? Julia Hartley Brewer's furious clash with vegan campaigner. It's Nathan McGovern, good friend, and been on the channel a couple of times. So he clashes with this super conservative commentator. And then we're going to take a look at this clip here from the David Packman show. Caller unleashes anti-vegan attack. So these three are what we're going to look at today. Starting off here with this one, which I watched a little bit of. This one's got like 100,000 views. Channel's got 700,000 subs. So this is frustrating that these comedians are still going out and doing this kind of stuff, going to vegan protesters and trying to trigger them for clicks and stuff. And as I said, who knows? Maybe this comedian actually is funny in this video. Maybe it's something we haven't seen before. Maybe actually the vegans are unreasonable and this guy's just trying to create some, I don't know, because there's some comedy against vegans that can be funny, right? We can laugh, we can take a joke, it's okay. Maybe it's that. Maybe I've got it all wrong, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that. It looks more like it's going to be some silly vegan trolls, anti-vegan trolls, who want to go out and cause crap so they can get clickbaits on the clickbait for their video, right? And garner some easy clicks, some easy views, some easy support, because hey, it's cool to hate on vegans, right? And we all know that. That's what I think it's going to be. So we'll take a look. And guys, as always, if you got something you want to say, send me a message. You can do that with Streamlabs, and I'll read it put it up on the screen and read it, guaranteed. Or super chat, or I'll be taking a little, having a little look at the live chat as we go. But as I said, if you want to guarantee it, that's how you do it: Streamlabs or super chat, and I'll get right to your comment. So what do you think, guys? Should we dive in? Should we jump right into this video and take a look? Give me some broccolis in the live chat if you want to jump right in right now and have a little Saturday afternoon or morning or evening, wherever you are, watching some numpties. Some numpties doing some silly trolling. I see Veg90s here says, I'm glad you guys are live. I woke up at 4 a.m. What time is it? I just said, yeah, if it's the morning for you, that's really early in the morning for you. Now, for me, it's only 2 in the afternoon. So definitely a more reasonable time for me to kick things off. But yeah, 4 in the morning. If you're watching at 4 in the morning, good for you. You're about to get a little bit annoyed, I think, by this one. Let's dive in then, shall we? Let's see what's going on with this video. This guy, I don't know who Danny Mullen is, but apparently he's a comedian. Big channel, 743,000 subs. This video's got about 188,000 views, almost 200,000 views, lots and lots of likes, not many dislikes. So let's have a crack on then.
Myself and editor Ian, we're at the Orange County Fair.
Yeah, Nico's here too.
Nico is here. Nico, are you mic'd up?
Yes, I am. It's on.
We not only do not have plans, we don't have tickets. But there is a protest going on at the gate, which seems like the logical place to start. Yeah. Let's do it. Are you ladies farmers?
Are we what?
Are you farmers? We came up from San Diego County. We're just trying to get the lay of the fair.
Yeah, so far, lame. That's so lame. Like, okay, look at the signs they're wearing. So just pretending you don't know what they are is pretty lowbrow comedy, isn't it? It's not exactly funny, is it? You can read, right? We know you can read, so yeah. So far, not a very witty start.
We're doing a little social media thing.
Yeah, that's nice. No, we don't exploit others for profit, if that's what you're asking.
Oh, farmers. Can you tell us about your cause then?
Oppressors.
Farmers are oppressors?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. They oppress the farmhands?
Are you here for mockery or are you here to actually
mockery? So
articulate
have a nice day.
Smart. They spotted that right away. That's really good by those vegans to realize, those activists to realize that this is just he's just taking the mick. So just, that's it. Have a nice day. See you later. There's no point trying to engage. I mean, on the other side of it, you could say your piece very quickly and maybe they'll cut it out of the video, whatever. But yeah, that's the other way. The way you don't want to go with this is to start getting upset and start shouting, screaming, calling them names, stuff like that. The way they've handled it so far is really good. Yeah, you're pranking us. We're not here to play games. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Why? I don't understand. Why would you say I'm here for mockery?
I'm asking, I posed a question. Are you here for mockery or you're here to articulate something?
You know, I'm surprised you expect to win anybody over to your cause when you ladies are being such bitches.
What a complete and utter wanker. You've been caught out because your comedy's shit and you couldn't figure, they figured you out immediately, right? Because you're bad at this. So you call them bitches. They call you out correctly. They've got your number immediately. So you respond by calling them bitches. What kind of YouTube tactic is that? What kind of comedian is that? That is so pathetic and lame. That's like doing stand-up comedy and someone calling out one of your jokes as being a crap joke. Let's imagine it's just crap. It's just a lame joke. No one laughed. It's like everyone knew it was a hack. It was a hack joke. And then you go, well, you're a bitch. It's like, is that it, mate? So you're going to follow up your hack joke with more hack? Just calling someone a name? That's not witty or comedy. I can't believe this guy calls himself a comedian. By the way, I'm saying he calls himself a comedian because on his Instagram, it says comedian on his Instagram and he does stand-up comedy. This is absolutely pathetic. I expected a little bit more than this, to be honest.
Being bitches.
Where do you get that weird voice from?
We're not here to
My voice is quite beautiful, actually. I've done voiceover work in Hollywood. You ever seen the children's show Arthur? That was me in the intro.
Impressive. Wow.
It is.
Come on, mushroom. Move along. Wait.
Jesus. Okay, yeah. So there's the moment that, earlier on, just rewind, where I said, vegans, what you don't want to do with these kinds of people is resort to name calling and lose your temper, right? Yeah, I'm glad these two vegans didn't do that. That's really disappointing, right? Because now you just stooped to his level. Why? Why is it this? I've seen this the second time I've seen this. Why do some vegans immediately go for dicks? Insults to dicks. I don't get that. Why is that where you go? Don't go there. I thought the whole vegan world, every vegan has a problem with a man saying to a woman, "Hey, fatty." Most people in this world have an issue with that. I go, "Hey, don't. That's body shaming. You can't do that. Don't go around being like, 'Hey, fatty.' Even if she eats meat, it doesn't matter. You don't go calling women fat. You don't go insulting women's weight." But yet, I've seen at least a couple of women do this to men, dick shaming. It's like, he's not doing well. He's being a complete idiot. He's supposed to be trained in wit and trained in comedy, right? So he should be doing better and coming up with more interesting insults, right? For sure. But you're not doing any better than him here. Now you've stooped below his level. He just called you bitches. You went for a body part. You went for a body shame. That's really disappointing. All round, this is disappointing. Bloody hell. We're 1 minute 20 in and it's already a nightmare.
Of oxygen.
Well, who cares about the welfare of other species now?
Your one claim to fame again in the world. What
You're
was
gonna
your...
come and just talk shit to
we
us.
were the
Walk away.
boys?
See, what might have happened here, in their defense, he might have cut out a moment before this where he said something even worse, and then she responded by saying that stuff. But still, the cameras are rolling. You're there holding a sign where you want to speak up for animals, and you're insulting, you're dick shaming him. You can do better. I mean, you could call him names. You could call him. You could try and insult him. You could belittle him. You could do all different things. I mean, I get it. You're angry. There's no need to hide your anger. If you need to express it. But going for the things like calling things about his dick and stuff like that's just avoid that, guys. Just avoid that. You can always just say, listen, you might be an animal abuser. You might not care about animals. You might be some kind of psycho. Whatever. Fine. We aren't that. That's why we're here. That's an insult, right? But at least it's still on camera. You representing your cause well. You can chat shit. Like, you can get into a to and fro with somebody if you're confident you want to do that. Fine. But, you know, you got to be careful about how it comes off. And here it's not, neither side's coming off well. The vegans here could have come off a lot better than him because he's frankly a terrible person. Like I said earlier, his retort to them saying, you know, we're not going to talk to you, is to call them bitches. The vegans had the high ground immediately because he's terrible and not funny. But then, you know, this happened.
To come and be a piece of shit, or you want to have an engagement?
They're very loyal to each other. He doesn't even know the lay of the land yet. He comes in just...
I appreciate... okay, that guy came in a little bit more... You know, are you going to be a piece of shit? Or are you going to have a conversation? See, that's more like it, in my opinion. Now, I know it's still not ideal, right? But at least it's not going for a dick shaming thing. I just really think that is like the dumbest thing to do when you're in this position as a protester, is to start calling someone, what did she call him? I don't even remember. I don't want to repeat it. You can fast rewind and have a look. But yeah, are you going to be a piece of shit, or are you going to have a conversation with me? I say something similar to that sometimes. Not exactly like that, but what I've said is, are you going to be silly? Are you going to be immature? Are you going to be childish, right? Or can we have a conversation where you're going to be serious? What's it going to be? Because if you want to mess around, then, you know, we're pretty much nothing. There's nothing to talk about here. But if you want to have a conversation, that's fine. I think that is a far more productive way. Even if you say, hey, do you want to be a piece of shit? Or do you want to talk? Do you want to be some kind of psycho? Do you want to act like a psycho with me? Or do you want to talk? How are we going to do here? Can we be serious? I like that. Much better than the previous version of events.
Does your heart rate ever drop below 100 beats per second?
Are you capable of engaging in a conversation?
Yes, I am.
Okay, then what is your premise? Would you like to say?
Well, we just wanted to come learn about what was going on, and they immediately got hostile with us.
What an idiot. You hear that? We just wanted to know what was coming on and they got hostile with us. No. You came over to troll. You asked them if they were farmers. And you knew they weren't farmers. They told you to go away because they knew you were taking the piss. And then you called them bitches. What a liar. What a gaslighting. That is the definition of gaslighting. Oh, we just wanted to know what was going on and they were mean. No, you were a top-class prick and they told you where to go politely told you to leave, and then you turned on them and started being horrible and calling them names. What a scumbag.
Well, I'll tell you what's going on. We're here to represent the animals.
Okay.
They're going to be killed inside the fair.
Okay.
We're just
He did just call her a whore. I wonder if that got cut out of the video, if he actually did call her a whore. This guy's done a good job there explaining why they're here. We're here for the animals that are going to be killed and eaten in this fair. Well, that's why they're there. And it's good that he got that on camera. It's good that that stayed in, because that's all these activists are here for. There's only 3 of them against possibly hundreds of people going into this fair, and they're still out there protesting. Whether you agree with them or not, I obviously agree with them. It's great that they're protesting. But if you're not a vegan, you're a meat eater, and maybe you're come from this Danny Mullen's channel, whether you agree with these activists or not, you've got to respect that they've got the guts to stand there and stand for what they believe in, and they've got the right to do that. They've got the freedom of speech to do that. They've got the right to do that. And they're standing up against odds here. That the odds of them getting attacked or the odds of them getting ridiculed by idiot YouTubers are so high, yet they still stand there and stand for what they believe, and you've got to respect that.
That was after you came and me.
Well, there's no reason to call anybody anything like that.
Sure. Well, tell them that. Yeah.
You're not a victim.
They're activists with me.
I am.
We stand on the side of animals. We don't come and make fun of them in the face of people who are trying to defend them.
Okay. So the animals in there. Can you tell us about the animals and what's going to become of them?
Good job by this guy to diffuse the situation a little bit and try to make something productive out of this. I think he's actually done a really good job. Came in hot, which I appreciate that. A little bit of heat is good, but then he managed to say, like, look, here's why we're here, right? Let's talk about it.
Them in
The
there.
animals are, the majority of these animals, if they haven't already been killed or been sent to a slaughterhouse, sold,
Yeah.
they were sold at auction.
Okay.
They will be sold at the end of this fair. So in a couple days, the fair will end, and there's going to be a big truck that comes and picks up all the remaining animals.
Okay.
So this is an actual animal where they bring the animals to sell them off, and they do these auctions and stuff like that. So even more, the danger that these 3 activists are standing here, the danger of this is so high. There'll be so many angry farmers in there who are going to come out and potentially shout abuse at them, or even maybe physically grab them or whatever. And you might think I'm overreacting here to this, exaggerating. This happens a lot at these fairs, these animal fairs, because these people, they can be very angry with vegans. They get a lot of hassle online. They get vegans protesting their businesses, so they take it out on peaceful protesters. There's tons of examples of this all over the internet. You can find farmers in all different countries literally physically attacking activists who actually didn't instigate any attack. They just have their signs or whatever. So brave for these guys to stand outside an event like this.
And it's going to take them to different slaughterhouses to be killed.
Sure. And are any of the cows sold into sexual slavery?
They're what is this?
Don't waste your time. Hey, he
Why? Okay, he asked the question, then laughed after it. And why would it be funny if they were sold into that? And actually, I don't know if the activist is going to explain this, but yes, they are in a way sold into that actually, because some of these cows, I don't know what kind of sales place this is. It could just be that they're selling them only for meat, but it could also be that they're selling some of the bulls, the mating breeding bulls, right? So they will literally, they are sold into what is basically sex slavery, because farmers will be jacking these bulls off to sell the semen. Now, obviously, the farmer isn't doing it because they get pleasure from it, like personal gratification, sexual gratification, but it is a form of slavery, of sex slavery, isn't it? Right? If you did that to a human, you didn't get anything out of it yourself, but you sold off the semen. It's a very thin line, isn't it, between what you would call sex slavery and whatever else that is, right? So yeah, in a way that is happening. I don't know why he sniggered after it. It was a weird question, but maybe the activist will explain that actually is the case, probably.
He's over one time on TV, and that's his claim to fame.
3 episodes.
When he's 90, he's going to be like, I was a voiceover.
Yes, they're sexually assaulted regularly.
Good, he's going
Don't you
into
know
it.
what the dairy industry is? Don't you know where milk comes from? I think we've proved our point. I think you look.
I'd actually like to learn more about the dairy industry, sexual
legitimately
exploitation.
look like a dumbass.
What's that?
I think you legitimately look stupid. Whether it's for followers or what, we've totally schooled your stupid douchebag ass.
Nobody
So
schooled
why
me
don't-
yet.
Yes, you just got schooled.
You can't just say I got schooled
you
without
did.
schooling me.
No, you
That's
did.
cheating.
Jesus, dude, he was doing so good. Maybe there's been a cut here as well. I feel like this guy, this YouTuber, has cut some parts where he said something really nasty, really horrible to make the vegans look worse. I challenge you, Danny, if you watch this, mate, I challenge you, release the full unedited clip. Put the full unedited clip out there and prove that these vegans just did this to you for no reason, like you were saying. You were saying they came at me for no reason. They've done this stuff for no reason. I'm just trying to understand. Prove it then. Full unedited clip. Do it if you dare. I bet you would not do it, because I bet you've been giving them shit off camera. You called her a whore off camera. We know that because you admitted it. She said he called me a whore. You said, yo, you did this to me first. That wasn't on camera. You're a pussy, mate. You're a pussy. This is horrible, though. Jesus, I'm gonna have to like turn that down. This is one of the more frustrating ones, because this guy is such a prick, and he's like a liar, and really, you know, this is like one of the worst ones. Now, I've seen other anti-vegans do this kind of stuff, right? And they've done it in a way which is, of course, it's frustrating. Of course, it's crap, and it's not good. But this one's, in my opinion, one of the worst because of his That's what I'm looking for. He's a manipulator. He's manipulated these people. He's manipulated the video to show something that clearly didn't happen. And he's actually an aggressive person, and he's saying horrible things to these people to try and get a reaction out of them. See, that's not the same as, for example, other pranksters like Gideon, who went in and ate meat in a vegan restaurant. He didn't insult the staff at any moment. All he did was he did something horrible, but he wasn't there to try to actually upset people. In his eyes, it was a silly game, right? And a lot of these pranksters see it as a silly game. They don't actually want to upset people or make people, you know, feel bad and go home and have a horrible day and things like that. This guy, on the other hand, he is clearly trying to do that for clicks. He's trying to upset people for clicks. He's calling them bitch and whore and stuff like that. He's another level. He's a proper scumbag. I've turned it down, guys. It shouldn't be so loud.
Well, this is good. We're letting the fairgoers go in peace now. It's nice.
Jesus.
I like it.
So I wonder what, like I said, I wonder what they actually did for this guy to turn on the thing, you know? Because I think that he didn't just turn it on for no reason. They said something off camera. Still, I don't think that's like the best way of doing it, to be honest, anyway. It would just be better to ignore them at that. If they say something truly horrible, just ignore them, I think.
Well, no, I thought you were Mr. Decorum.
I was
Hey,
until you
douchebag.
showed your true colors. Until you showed your true colors. Until I schooled your stupid ass. Now get the out of our
You didn't school me! Stop saying that!
Clearly.
This guy f***s the cows!
Yeah, that's
Jesus.
you, honey. That's you.
I f*** cows?
Yeah.
I'd be happy to fuck a cow.
Because we.
What is wrong with these guys, man? Jesus.
It's disgusting to even think of that.
Well, anybody who's ever made love to you has f***ed a cow.
You see what I mean? He's a horrible person. He's not a comedian, that's for sure. He's just this is the third time, and I think this will be the third and last time. He is a perfect example, a clear case of a complete and utter scumbag. I'll go on record and say that I reckon other pranking YouTubers who do similar stuff to him would agree with me here, vegan or not, that he's a scumbag and that this is not the way to do this kind of stuff. This is not the way to prank. To go and insult people like that, to call people whores and bitches and then say that what he just said now. I reckon the bigger YouTubers out there and a lot of other people that do similar content would be against what he's doing here.
Anybody who can make
Because I as a vegan obviously am biased, right? And I'm trying to see this objectively to see like, okay, is there any comedy here? Is this like could this be a funny video if this were maybe the vegan was making the jokes against the meat eaters? And no, I wouldn't think that was funny at all. I would say if he was a vegan and they were meat eaters, right? I would say he's wrong. 100% for calling them names, for calling them all the things he's called them, for making these quote unquote jokes, which are actually just really, really horrible things that he's saying for shock value. I would actually say, no, this guy's a douchebag. This guy's a proper scumbag. And as a fellow vegan, I would denounce him. I'd say you can get fucked, right? So that's where I stand. And I think a lot of other people, as I said, in the same world would agree. In the YouTube world, in the pranking world, you know?
love to you, they are out of their mind because they're psychotic. Like
This is not good.
She's bovine.
She's giving him, you know, he's calling him names because it gets this reaction. And it's you know, it's really bad. And the vegans here, in my opinion, have kind of chosen the wrong way of going about it. You just got to, when he's filming and he's clearly a YouTuber, you can't give him this content. You're giving him pure gold here for his idiot followers who think he's some kind of genius for screaming horrible abuse at people and making horrible comments and calling people names and trying to upset people, because that's what he's doing. He's trying to upset people. You're giving him all this gold. You know, that's if he oversteps the mark. If he actually overstepped and got too close to any of them, then that's a different thing, in my opinion. Then you lamp him, or that's the UK, that's British slang. You smack him quite hard if you got too close. But aside from that, you know, if you're gonna engage with him at all, if he's just shouting crap, either be witty and hold your calm, right, and be witty and just undermine him and, you know, piece him apart, or ignore him. I think. I don't think screaming back at him and screaming insults back at him is doing anyone any favors. And as I said, it's giving him the gold that he wants.
If you ask me, that's why she cares so much about the cows. She's probably related.
Okay, go, get the out of here.
Well, I'm trying.
Hey, there's some voiceovers you can do with that big money, and your non-speaking
Man,
friends can help you.
just
There's some
stop.
voiceover jobs inside. Hurry, rush in there.
Hey,
No, don't, no.
voiceovers for an Oscar Mayer.
This needs to stop. You just need to leave it. They just need to leave it. My opinion. I'm sorry, these vegans. Look, if any of the vegans are in this that see this video, guys, I get it. I 100% get it. I really, really do. But you guys gave him what he wanted, and we've got to be more aware of this to not give people what they want when they come and do this. And whatever he said off camera, whatever he's doing, as I said, in my opinion, if they get too close, if they get physically, it looks like they're physically gonna do something, or they get in your personal space. In my opinion, that's grounds for a smack if you choose to do that. And I think that, you know, it's important that we don't act like complete soft asses, that we do defend ourselves if it comes to that. But when it's just all these words, I just feel like we've got to be witty. We've got to undermine them. We just got to say, yeah, things like very clever. You're very clever. Okay, bye-bye. Yeah, no, really great. That's really good. Bye-bye. No, yeah, that's funny. I'm sure you're going to make a great video out of this. See you later. Yeah, just stuff like that, you know, and then just talk to each other and go, are you still here? He's still here. We're not interested, mate. Go into your little fair, right? Bye-bye. That I highly recommend doing it that way. Now, I'm not perfect, by the way, you know. I'm not, I don't always get it right either. I've called people names and stuff like that. And I'm going to post some videos where it shows where I do that, okay? I'm just saying I think this is the way we should try to be. What I'm explaining here is the way to try to be. And following these guys around, screaming through megaphones and stuff is giving them, oh my God, they were so happy. I mean, look at the guy on the right. He's so happy. This is a viral video for them. They know it. Everyone knows it. TikTok's going to go crazy. And you've given it to them on a plate. Now, the only positive of all of this so far is that the guy who stayed calm for like most of it did a good job of getting in his points before it all went to shit. If he'd have maintained that level of calm, this would have been solid, actually. That would have been great. But because he threw it all out and lost it, no one's caring about what he said anymore because now they're just screaming and it's all, and this is what people will remember. So to that guy, that activist who kept it together, well done, mate. You did a really good job. But just please, next time, try and maintain that. In my opinion, try and maintain that calm so that that's what people remember. Like, that guy was solid, and maybe I should listen to what he said. But, you know, that's not going to happen now, unfortunately.
Oh. Hey, we're being harassed. We're being harassed. We're being harassed. Oh, boy. Jesus, Nico. Was that uncalled for?
That's the most fucked up thing, but I think we should speed walk now.
Yeah, that was the most effed up thing, was it? What, that you guys went over and verbally abused some people and then they lost their temper with you. I love how they played a victim immediately after it. You guys are pathetic little pussies is what you are. Straight up, there's no question about it. So pathetic. And you notice how, imagine, right, I asked this question, yeah, these two are pretty tall guys, and who they went over and picked on? They went over and picked on two women who were pretty short, right? And then the guy came over, no offense to that guy, but he was also smaller than those guys, right? So not a physical presence in comparison to them. Actually, nobody who was interacting with them was posing any kind of physical threat to them in terms of size and in terms of... Now, if it were a couple vegans there, maybe people like Dave LeDuc, maybe Danny lifting Vegan Logic, myself, I'm 6'2", by the way, Steve from Vegan Muscle, right? Vegan Muscle Outreach, and maybe let's pick a couple like Nimai Delgado, maybe who else? Brian Turner, right? Check these guys out if you don't know who they are, vegan bodybuilders. I wonder if they'd have still come over and done what they did. I wonder if they'd have still come over, huh? If that's who was there, and I wonder if they'd have still had the same attitude. I wonder how far they would have pushed it. My guess is they wouldn't have pushed it pretty far because they're pussies, right? I'm telling you that's how it would have gone. They would have backed down pretty quickly. And it tells you when with these kinds of people, they do tend to go for the smaller, more easy to, in their eyes, easy to push around kind of looking people. These kind of pranksters, don't they? They never pick on the biggest guy in the team, right? So that tells you a lot that you need to know about them as well. Someone in the comments has put Charlie Veach. You know, Charlie Veach is a troll through and through. But I think even he would watch this and say this was out of order. And he trolls people and he calls them names, but only when they call him names first, only when they start it, right? And he does very similar stuff to these guys. It's a similar vibe. But I don't think he'd support this either. And he's not even a vegan, right? Thank you for the super chat, Notorious. Would you reach out to them for a discussion? Yeah, I mean, they can watch... If they watch this video, I will do might do a shorter version of this video where I just compile the main bits and put it out as a single video in case they don't watch the stream. And maybe I'll do some shorts and some reels. And I'd be happy to talk to them. But I do think they're scumbags. And I'd be happy to tell them I think they're scumbags. And they could prove that they're not, couldn't they? They could come on and prove that they're not. We could have a discussion. Why are you not a scumbag? And I can point out all the things we've pointed out here and we'll see how it goes. I doubt it would be productive, but I'm happy to be proven wrong. Right, guys? I'm happy for these guys to come on my channel. I go on their channel. And they could prove me wrong, but I doubt it.
So, Ian, did Nico and I not tell you that big digging it into this fair would be the easiest move of all time?
I agreed via text. I said, Well, actually, I disagreed with the idea of sneaking in, which...
How do you feel about it now, buddy?
We did a hybrid. That was not sneaky in any way.
I said we were gonna big dick it. What do you have there?
I bought a couple records. There's this art of music exhibit going on in this building there, and they were selling records.
Can I ask how you got in? Because it was sold out this morning.
Yeah, I bought ticket yesterday. So I should have bought tickets for you guys, but...
Ian, you're slowly turning into like a 54-year-old dad. He's
I'm looking forward to see what's going on.
Destroyed.
A month exclusive.
An earful from those animal rights activists.
Okay, so it's from here then.
If you want more.
Boy, did we get an earful from those animal rights activists out front.
They are too much.
They don't understand how this country is run.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I came in here sort of ambivalent about the animal rights issue. After hearing from them, hand me the double barrel. I'll kill these things myself.
Well, they say stupid things.
Yeah.
Like that all the animals in here are going to die the day after the fair is over.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so when will it be then, hey? Not the day after the fair, but what? 30 days after the fair? 60 days after the fair? 90 days after the fair? Yeah. So, but they say they're going to die one day after the fair. Oh, stupid. Oh. Yes, tell us when it is going to be then, mate, because they're not going to live forever, are they? They're not going to die of old age. You're going to kill them the second they're at their perfect, in your eyes, the perfect level or age to get the most profit, right? So you are going to slit their throats, just maybe not the day after the fair.
That's exactly what they told us. They said they're all loading onto a truck, going straight to the slaughterhouse right after.
One of them, I think you might like this, sir. She was talking about how they're killing cows in here. And I said, I wish they were, because to me, you look like a cow. That's right, yeah, because she was fat. She was pretty fat, huh, Ian?
A little bit, but it really got her, though.
Yeah, that's the thing, is with women, it doesn't matter, skinny, medium, just call them fat and they don't like it.
Yeah, funny how that works, isn't it? People in general, but women especially, self-conscious about their weight, you know, because of the way that the whole things are set up, where there's lots of pressure on, for example, lots of pressure on men to not be skinny or whatever, lots of pressure on women to be skinny. And so you get a load of men who obsess in the gym and take steroids and stuff like that because they think that their body's not big enough. But then if you go back 20 years or something like that, the ideal male body was actually pretty slim with a bit of muscle, but nowadays it's actually huge. And so that's all messed up for men. And for women, it's always been about weight. It's always been about being slim and not having too much fat and stuff like that. And so if you pick on people's insecurities, it gets them worked up and upset. Who knew? Who knew that if you point out things people are insecure about, they get upset about it? That's mind-boggling. I mean, this guy, wow, to make that kind of observation, you've got to be a professional in comedy to be able to, God, I mean, do observational comedy as amazingly observant as that. This guy must be a pro. Jesus, he's like Andrew Schultz level pro of observational comedy to notice that. That's like Ricky Gervais level. This guy should be selling out stadiums all around the world based on this incredible thing that he's realized here. That, wow, oh man, who knew? Who knew, guys? Poof. I mean, I'm blown away. I'm blown away by this level of intellect here.
It's like telling a guy he's got a tiny penis, which they opened with those tactics on us.
They did. They got very quickly. They immediately could tell we weren't animal activists.
They opened with those tactics on us. Skipping the part where you started calling them bitches, right? And that's not saying what they did was right, by the way. That they should never have gone dick shaming. But at the same time, you can't play the victim when you started calling them bitches first, can you?
They told me I had a small penis.
What are the oxen? What's going to happen to these guys after the fair?
Yeah, sure, mate. They're just going to stay right there forever, aren't they? What a liar. Why do farmers lie? That's what we need to know. Or they hide the truth, right? They bend the truth a little bit. Oh, he's going to stay right here for 20 days, and then we're going to put him on a truck, take him to a slaughterhouse and slit his throat. But for the next 20 days, he's going to be right here, so I can just answer the question by saying, he's going to be right here. Why do they do this? Just admit what you're doing so people can make the decision as to whether they want to support you stabbing animals or not. And I would hope that most people would decide, no, I actually don't want you to stab that animal. I'm not going to pay you. That's why people are vegan.
Prize animals. Yeah, these are pets.
The difficult part of it is that we can't do
I can do something about it.
What about the vegans? The difficult part is we can't do anything about the vegans. Oh, I bet it's difficult for you to have people out there telling people what's happening inside and the truth when you're pretending that these cows are your pets, right? It must be really hard for people to be exposing you, right? Tough times, guys. Anyway, it looks like they go back now outside. Let's see.
Wrapped just the way I like it.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, so they're going to get, wait, let me check here, right? Now, listen. If he's going to go out there with this meat and eat it in front of the vegans, I'm going to lose my mind. Because that would be the most funniest, unique thing that any comedian, any prank YouTuber could do. Like this would be amazing because no one's done that, right? Ever. This would be the first time I've ever seen it. So, geez, wow. He is a revolutionary genius, this guy. He's changing the YouTube game. He's changing comedy worldwide with these crazy, amazing ideas that have never been done before.
We got some unfinished business. Get some unfinished business with these folks. Hey, excuse me.
Oh, she's doing it. Oh, I can't believe he's doing it. This is amazing. Wow. This is groundbreaking. Groundbreaking stuff, guys.
That's right. It's dead animal o'clock. What's up, bro? She's rushing me.
Back up.
Yeah, he got too close. See? That's what I'm telling you. He got too close, and I'm telling you, there's grounds for a smack. He got way too close. Let me go back there. He's cut it out again, right? Watch. He's cut this video to make him look so good. Look how close he is there. You see that?
Animal o'clock.
And there's a cut here. Watch. You see that? What was he doing just then before this cut? Release that full video. Release that full video, man. These are such disgusting people. He was really close up. I'm going to bet he was leaning over, right? Reaching over. I meant to say leeching over, right? I don't know. But anyway, or reeling over with it. And he got close. And that's why these guys are coming over saying, stay away from her. And now he's going to act like the victim, like he wasn't very close or anything like that. And he was. He was in her face, guaranteed. And they've cut it out.
What's up, bro? She's rushing me.
Back up.
She approached me. Did you see her rush me?
No.
I'm thinking about filing a battery.
No, we saw you rush her.
You see that? Yeah, we saw you rush her, right? And they've cut it. There was a cut there for a reason. They were approaching. Then there was a cut, and then it was there, right? He's gone in hard with this thing that he's got in his hand. That's what's happened.
Yes, rush.
Did you clock me? You got a chronograph on that? What was my mile per hour as I rushed her?
I'd like to see it looks like the vegans, I hope they videoed the whole thing, but I don't know if they caught it all. I mean, if anyone knows who these guys are, where this is and stuff like that, let me know. I'll contact them, see if we can get any videos they've got from the other side of this, where proving that these guys have actually been doing the things they've not been doing.
Why does it, like, what pleasure does it give you to be such, like, a disrespectful douchebag?
Good question.
You have such a small dick.
Oh,
that
bad.
this is how you-
Jesus, guys, with the dick. Vegans, we need to stop doing this. This is not the first time I've seen this. There's a super viral video out there where this woman is screaming at this guy saying he's got a small dick, and it got the video I posted about it got millions of views. There's other videos that got millions of views. Stop doing that, guys. Please stop. It doesn't help us at all. This compensation crap and all these, it's just not the way to go. It's just not a good look whatsoever. Just mock them in a way that undermines them and makes them feel silly and look silly. But if you're shouting abuse at them like that, then you are showing that you're triggered. You're giving them exactly what they want. And this is beautiful. This is gold content for them. This is exactly what they came here for. And this video's succeeding because of what you've done. You can't do this, guys. Please stop doing this.
You have to compensate.
You probably have a small dick.
Oh, original.
Again, that's the 5th time in the same video. Please, guys, please.
Where did you get that insult? Where could you have come up with that insult?
I mean, this guy's talking about she's not being original. Dude, you're literally out eating meat in front of vegans. You're doing the least original thing in the world to vegans, right? So you can't criticize her for originality. You can criticize her for body shaming and saying something really nasty, but then why would he care? He's doing it. He's saying just as nasty things back to them. This this could have been a situation where he is clearly in the wrong and he's clearly a douchebag and the vegans are doing a good job and are actually keeping their shit together. But it's not. It's actually just both sides are completely losing their shit, saying horrible things to each other, and it's a nightmare. Veg90, cheers for the tip, mate. David and Annie, would you guys ever visit the US and maybe do some outreach here? Keep up the good work. Potentially, yes, potentially. We're looking into potentially trying to get over to the US for some things next year, but it's not a given. It's not 100%, but it's a potential. Yeah, thank you for the question, and we'll keep you updated on if we can make that happen or not. We should know pretty soon.
I think there's a meeting where they're like, okay, people are gonna.
Ah, geez, that's loud.
This is how we do them. We say they have a small dick. That's insult number one.
That doesn't work?
No, I didn't-
Siren.
that was not intentional.
Sorry, so loud.
Hey, we got a peacemaker here.
I'm just gonna keep it turned down while the sirens
If
go.
it's
Okay,
any
it's gone.
consolation, it's dry. It's really not good. It's not very good.
Yeah. If you guys just had a sensible conversation with us, I might go vegan.
If you guys just had a sensible conversation with us, we might go vegan. Do you remember at the beginning of the video when they tried to have a sensible conversation with them and they resorted to calling them bitches and whores, asking them if they were going to do sell the cows as sex slaves? So no, that's not what happened, is it? This is what I'm trying to tell you. These guys, the reason these guys are particularly bad, are nasty people, is because they're manipulative, they're gaslighting, they're trying to play all these different tricks and insulting them and all this stuff for a video. In my opinion, guys, I mean, I am an activist, but I also am a YouTuber in some senses. Like, I do YouTube videos that are not always completely activism focused, right? So I'm in the world of YouTubers. And to me, how I see it in the YouTube world, there are lines you don't cross. If you're going to do pranks on people, if you're going to mess with people, you've got to have a line. You've got to have a line that you don't cross, right? And manipulating people into giving you a reaction and then gaslighting them once you get the reaction, abusing people for the reaction, then telling them they weren't abused, that's crossing the line completely. It's completely unethical YouTubing, in my opinion. It's completely unethical video making. And this applies for everybody. If a vegan was doing this to a meat eater, I would say that's unethical. You shouldn't do that. It's not reasonable. It's not fair. And it's just a sign of someone who is so desperate for clicks and likes and whatever that he's willing to basically abuse people in the street for it. Is like, what is wrong with you, dude? If you consider yourself to be some kind of comedian, surely you can make some actual comedic content without resorting to all of this, right? I'm so shocked by this, honestly, because I thought it would. I had a feeling, because I saw that this guy did stand up, I thought maybe it's going to be funny. Maybe it's actually going to be something that I will end up saying, come on, vegans, chill out. He's just messing around. It's not that bad. It's not that serious. I thought maybe that's what it may be. Like, he had some good comments and some witty jokes and stuff like that, right? But no, this is the complete opposite of all of that. There's no wit. There's no intellect. There's no actual good comedy content whatsoever. He's just a top class wanker trying to upset people in the street. I'm surprised, honestly, totally surprised.
Shut the f*** up. Instead of being pathetic, piece of shit waste of a breath.
There's kids
Then
here,
we can have a
dude.
conversation. But the three of you insist on being total apathetic losers. Your mothers must be so ashamed of their ugly selves for raising such ugly, pathetic,
Jesus.
apathetic monsters. Monsters who would run up on this woman for what? For follows? For likes?
You did a good job of censoring himself after you called out the
Yeah,
kids.
seriously, just swear in front of the kids. And
He's made a good point there, this guy, to be honest with you. It's what I've been saying here as well, that, you know, you've made yourselves out. You've shown that you are monsters. You've come over here to try and upset people. You're charging down a girl and making, you know, intimidating people for likes and views. Called it out, and it's true, and they've got nothing to say about it because it is true. That's exactly what they're doing. That's been their game plan.
And we're not apathetic. We're actively eating animals.
No, you're an apathetic piece
No.
of shit. That's what you are.
I'm not. I'm eating an animal. I'm not apathetic. I'm anti-animal
You're
life.
apathetic to their plight. You're apathetic to their cause.
I'm anti their plight.
Right. No, we're
But that's it. That should be it, though. This is what I mean. You just say it like, you guys are pieces of shit. You guys are, you know, let's just move away from it. That's it. Leave you guys alone. That's it. Leave us alone. Go away. Someone put in the comments here, I'm late joining, but has anyone mentioned Danny Mullen admitting to doing sexual shit with a dog? Is that true? This guy, not this guy, not the vegan, the guy, the YouTuber's done that? For real?
Bro,
This guy or the other guy?
eating them.
Yes.
What are you doing? Can we get some help?
Yeah, cops like that. They respond better when you call them worthless pieces of trash. Police, they really respect that.
That's pretty weird that the cops didn't come over and at least just basically separate them out. Like, what? Isn't that what they're there for? What else are they there for? There's no one causing shit inside. It's clearly going to be outside. It's weird that they wouldn't come over and have a chat and see what's going on. So this guy here, the one in the far back, that's the guy. That's Danny Mullen. And apparently he done stuff with a dog. Let me quickly research that and see if this is true or not. Danny Mullen, dog. Oh, so he's okay. So it's here on Reddit. So okay, let's just see this. This is it here. Apparently he's saying something about this dog.
Done the peanut butter thing with a dog. That was one of the low moments.
Did you let the dog eat peanut butter off your balls?
Yeah.
At what age?
Too old.
Like a couple of years ago?
I think it was either, I want to say it was in 6th grade, but if we're being totally honest with the audience, it was in junior high.
Wow. What led you there? Was it the seeking of pleasure? Did you think it was funny? Or?
Dude, I mean, we're not all pussy monsters like Mr. Adam 22. I couldn't tail whip on a BMX bike.
Yeah, but a dog's fucking snout being all up in your balls?
Well, it was my dog, Jamie. She was a very good-looking purebred dachshund, and she was, you know, good at her tongue.
What the fuck?
Okay, so hold up. What's junior high in America? 12 to 50. So he'll have been like a young teen. So as a young teen, he did that to a dog. All right. Okay. So yeah, all of our predictions about this guy and how I called him a scumbag and they called him a piece of shit and I said he's a disgusting person. So it's all true. Yeah. Not just by this video, but by that too. Yeah, it's all completely 100% true. He is a top class grade A piece of shit scumbag. Wow. Now, I didn't expect us to get confirmation, complete confirmation outside of just this one video that we were watching together here. But here we have it. Here we have it. Wow. Well, there you go. There you go. Well, I'm lost for words, to be honest with you, because I didn't realize we were actually dealing with such a sick, twisted individual, which he clearly is. That brings a whole new light to the rest of this video, doesn't it? It kind of explains here all of his behavior so far and his continued behavior that we're going to get here. And this is part of we have an epidemic right now with social media where basically we have monetized stupidity, as in being stupid pays in the world these days. Being intellectual, making content that's wholesome or factual or honest, real, that does less, right? In terms of popularity, in terms of doing well, that performs worse than complete and utter idiocy and complete and utter moronic behavior. Degeneracy pays. This guy is an example of that. He's a degenerate moron, and it pays to be a degenerate moron. This video is performing well. His channel performs well. His Instagram performs well. And as you see from that, what we just watched on Reddit and what we see here, yeah, degeneracy pays, idiocy pays. And we've got to do something about it, to be honest with you, because aside from the vegans here and him, this is just an example of who he is right now. Obviously, I side with the vegans. He's a scumbag for that reason, because he's joking about killing animals. He's joking about the abuse animals go through, and that alone is disgusting. Animals are horrifically abused in animal agriculture. At this fair, every animal that is bought and sold there is going to be abused and killed, and all for what? For a sandwich, for a burger? That alone is disgusting. And the problem with this monetized idiocy, this monetized stupidity, is it leads to more and more and more of that, because the new generations, the younger generations, look up to people like this idiot and they become completely apathetic. Nothing matters. They're almost nihilistic. Nothing matters. everything just for the clicks, everything for the likes, everything for the views. It doesn't matter. We don't need morals or ethics. We don't need rules. We don't need anything. All we need is likes, clicks, followers, and that's it. That's all I'm interested in. So we're not going to end up with a world that has people who are more empathetic. We're not going to end up with a world where people are going vegan for animals, where people are supporting different human rights causes and looking after their fellow man and looking after their neighbor and looking after their families and looking after the... We're not going to have that world with people like this out there setting the tone for the youth of today. This 743,000 people, guaranteed most of them are going to be young people influenced by this kind of idiot. It's just, you know, we need to do something about this, guys. I'm doing my best from where I'm sat. I'm trying to bring some, you know, grounded reality to the world through here and through the second channel, the podcast. But it's, you know, it's not big enough. We need more leaders, big leaders with lots of influence to start calling these people out, right? Like, for example, your people who consider themselves leaders, who consider themselves trying to change the world for the better, even though they may not be. In the conservative YouTube spaces, there are a lot of people who say, I'm here to call out all this nonsense. I'm here to bring some reality back to the world and help the people, whatever. You know, a lot of these guys would laugh at this because it's anti-vegan. For example, like Michael Knowles, big conservative YouTuber, would probably enjoy this video and do a reaction video and enjoy it. It's like, no, if you actually want the best for society, your Ben Shapiro's, your Michael Knowles's, Jordan Peterson's, these guys who claim they're trying to make society a better place, right? That's why they're calling out the nonsense, calling out the BS to their millions of subscribers. These guys need to step it up then and actually condemn this kind of stuff and say, this is disgusting, these people are scum, right? Because they got huge influences. Love them or hate them, they've got huge influences. And they keep claiming they want to make society better. Well, for all of the quote-unquote woke people out there doing all their protests, which they constantly condemn, you also need to condemn these idiots too. You need to inspire the youth of today to go against these types of people. That is more important than any silly woke protest that, you know, that they comment on for clicks or whatever. This is way more important than all of that. And if you can think of somebody else who should speak up against this, you know, let me know. I'm just trying to think who has a big audience who could actually condemn this, right? And, you know, I think those are the kinds of people who comment on social stuff and social issues and things that are happening and protests and videos and social experiments, things like that, right? So, you know, those are the guys that should be condemning this.
No, it didn't. I'm still here eating an animal leg.
Yeah, you get off on abusing, insulting women. Is that what you get off on?
I do get off on that. Yeah, that's the genre of porn I watch most.
Douchebag, that's why.
Nice. Small dick, douchebag, apathetic. Apathetic's a weirdly, like, not very pointy one.
Yeah, that does work for most people walking by, because most people just don't want to hear it and want to ignore it, and that's fair. I get that point, but it just doesn't work here.
You guys want some bacon?
No, but you guys come up on us one more time, you're going to get a mouthful of pepper spray. If you come up and touch us.
So they've actually got pepper spray. And yeah, they should do that. If these guys come up on them as they did in the beginning, that would be a reasonable response.
No one has touched you. No one has touched.
Doesn't matter if any of you are touched. If someone charges you, and this is, I don't know if it's the case in America, guys, but you guys need to realize this too. If someone charges at you and they get in your personal space, they don't need to contact you for you to pepper spray them. They don't need to make contact with you for you to smack them either. In the US, there probably be court cases and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure, at least in the UK, if you enter someone's personal space, you're in your rights. If you have reasonable belief to think that they're going to harm you or hit you, you can hit them back first. So it's like self-defense. So these guys, pepper spray, if they charge up on them like that, they deserve to get pepper sprayed. But the right thing to do, as you've just said now, Vegan Stitch, is to just... This has already gone too far. The vegans have already given them too much attention and too much of all this stuff. They need to just walk away. They need to just leave it at this point.
At all.
Let's try it.
I thought you were going to say it.
No, but you've come close, so try it.
But now you're going close to him. This guy is now approaching them. Back off and leave them alone. That's it. It's over. You're giving them more content and you're telling them, if you come over again, what is this macho nonsense? You're threatening them now. Now they actually could hit you because now you're approaching. You've got violence in your voice. You're telling them. You're threatening them. Either of them could smack you right now, and then a court of law, they'd probably say, like, we got it on video. He was approaching us, threatening us. I felt threatened, so I lashed out. You just don't. They're the ones being the aggressors, but now the vegans are being the aggressors. The vegans, guys, don't be the aggressors in this situation. respond accordingly and react accordingly if they overstep the mark. But ultimately, just get away. This is not even where you guys were protesting. They were protesting over there. Like, just leave it now. This is over. But there's so much of the video left. It tells me that maybe it's not over.
A classic follower. You're like, I follow this. Well, no, like this total douchebag.
He almost got a semi-douchebag. Give him semi-douchebag.
This loser who looks like he's probably 5 or 6 years older, but sadly is probably the same age.
Dang.
Looks like a total.
Dang, man.
You know, the guys in the comments, this does not help the animals. It's a waste of energy. I agree, because you could have literally just spammed vegan messaging to them on camera. You guys are here to troll. We are here to defend animals. We are here to defend animals who can't defend themselves. If it were dogs in there, you would defend animals too. You would be here with us if it were dogs in there. But because it's cows or whatever other animals are in there, you're making fun of us and you're eating them. You guys are hypocrites. You're inconsistent. Okay? So you can make fun of us all you want, but just know that if it were animals you cared about in there, you would join us. Because we care about these animals and you don't. That's comedy. These animals are going to have their throats slit. These animals are going to be abused. They're going to be exploited for their entire lives. Then someone's going to kill them just for a snack, for a meal. These are the kinds of things I would like to hear from vegans in this situation. If you're going to interact with trolls at all, that's a good way to interact. Or alternatively, like I said earlier, if you want to do it for content for your own channel, if someone's filming you, you could roast them. You could do like playful but powerful roasting of them that makes them look silly and makes you not look silly, right? And then that's also good content. But losing your temper, screaming at them, coming close to them and kind of threatening way and stuff like that, it doesn't come off well. It doesn't come off well at all. It's exactly what they expect, and it's exactly what you provided. Unfortunately.
Skincare routine, man. But they could tell sunblock. They could tell I didn't have a small penis, though. That was you. That was you. They never once hit me with that.
Damn it, dude.
Yeah.
Damn it. How's it going, officers? We showed them who's boss. Oh, we just came back in. We just
Listen. You gotta go through the.
Sure. Correct. We back the blue or the brown, as you guys are.
The green.
The green. Is that green? My shades. Brown, green. I'm colorblind too. Thank God the protesters didn't pick up on that. I'm very insecure about my colorblindness.
That is a true fact. I'm sure Patreon people already know this, but Danny is oddly colorblind.
I am oddly colorblind.
He's oddly a lot of things, isn't he? All right. Are we doing this? There's a whole segment here. I don't know. I'm just going to like speed through it. So the music might be a problem.
Nico, when you get married, do you expect any of us to attend? Oh,
I'm just skipping through to see if there's anything worth watching.
Do every year with your family?
Yeah. Nico, you're going to prove your loyalty to me and Ian right now.
Look, I see a face.
Still skipping.
And then what I've heard about, and it's the big secret.
Hi. I didn't go lock my parents.
Okay, keep going.
What do you mean?
I don't think there's anything else to do with the vegans, fortunately.
Seems like a regional human trafficking expert. Perhaps even the
About Spectrum or whatnot. He's about 1920.
I almost wanted to kiss him, but
No, I don't think there's anything. It's just these two acting like...
If
Yeah, that's
the
it.
right
So that's the whole thing, basically. So yeah, I think I've said everything I wanted to say there, basically. It's as simple as this. My view on these guys is, they're complete and trash, horrible people, disgusting people. And those vegans who were there, they were there for a good reason. They're there to defend animals. They're there to put themselves on the line, put their time on the line, put their safety on the line, because it's not a safe place to go and protest outside something like this. But they care about animals. And even if you don't care about those animals, why would you go and mock people who care about animals? What is that about? Like, you wouldn't do that. In so many other circumstances, you wouldn't do that. If it were animals you cared about, if you specifically cared about them, you would be with those protesters. A good example would be people who protest on the streets to raise money for the World Wildlife Federation. For example, they raise money to save pandas or save the polar bears, right? And do you go and troll them? Do you go and call them bitches and stuff like that? Do you go and... No, because chances are these guys agree with those guys. Chances are these guys agree with what they're standing for because they like pandas or because they like polar bears. But because you don't have an opinion on, or actually you don't like cows, you're going to go and just go and verbally insult and assault people who care about them. Like, what is wrong with you guys? And for nothing but money, basically. It's like just for a paycheck, just so you can get that YouTube money, just so you can get that Patreon money. Pathetic. It's among the lowest of the low ways to get money out of YouTube, basically, right? Really sad, really pathetic. I've used a ton of different words. I think I've already made my feelings on this one clear. But anyway, if either of these guys want to come on here, as I said, and prove that they're not scumbags and they're not disgusting people, then I would be open to it. Chances are that it would just, they've got no ethics and no morals, so they wouldn't take it seriously. It would just be another opportunity for them to act like complete morons and get some more clicks. But I think I would still do it, to be honest with you, anyway, just to make it clear, like how these people don't deserve anyone's money, that's for sure, or any time and attention. And in 5 to 10 years' time, everyone will have moved on and they'll be bored of them because they're just flash in the pan idiots that I hope the world would leave behind pretty soon. But hey, I don't know. The next 5 to 10 years, maybe more and more of these idiots will come out, and maybe everyone this will be YouTube. I hope not. I hope people move on from this stage that we're in right now, but we'll just see, won't we? Damn. Complete and utter numpties. Right, guys, give me some broccolis in the chat if, despite all that, you're still having a good time. Where's my blue light gone? The hell? It's like turned off. I guess that's that there. Okay, we don't have a blue light anymore for some reason. I'll deal with that later. But yeah, give me some broccolis in the chat if you're okay. If you're having an all right time on this Saturday afternoon, guys. Let me know. We've got a couple other videos to take a look at. I'll show you the videos that we're going to have a look at. It's just these two more we're going to have a look at. All right, guys, here, I'll show you. So we got this one here. Who the hell do you think you are? Which is a vegan debate and conservative commentator. And then we've got this David Packman show clip. Caller unleashes anti-vegan attack. Those are the ones we're going to check out today. I've not seen either of them, so I don't know what to expect, to be honest with you. But we'll dive into it. We'll dive into it and we'll have a little look. So we'll kick off with the first one. This Talk TV. Talk TV with Nathan McGovern, our buddy old pal, went on there and had a little session with this one, Julia Hartley Brewer, who those in the UK will know, she's a bad one. She's a lot of people don't like her in the UK. She's one of those kind of hardcore conservative commentators who causes a lot of crap and says a lot of things. And I really don't know much about her. I've seen a couple of clips where she's being a bit of a dick, but I really don't know much about her. But it seems like she's gone furious here with Nathan McGovern from Animal Rising. Who the hell do you think you are? Furious clash with vegan campaigner. All right, let's see how furious she really gets.
Question, are Brits falling out of love with meat? We're eating less meat than at any point since the 1970s, according to a new study. But is the lower demand due to a rise in vegetarianism or the cost of living crisis? Well, a YouGov poll found that 1 in 8 people now claim to be vegetarian or vegan. But are they? Well, joining me now in the studio is the co-founder of the Plant-Based Universities campaign, Nathan McGovern. Good afternoon to you. And of course, we've still got Benedict Spence as well. Can't get rid of him. He won't leave. What can I say? Hasn't got the energy. Hasn't had meat yet today. Nathan, thank you so much for joining us in the studio. Appreciate that.
Okay, relatively friendly so far, apart from the little snidey meat comment. Let's see where we go.
Let's talk about why meat eating has dropped, because its lowest point since the 1970s. Consumption at home has fallen 12.5% to an average of 854 grams a week. Just genuinely, I don't know about anyone else, I have no idea what grams. I do plenty of cooking. The grams thing, I've got the measurements.
Cook everything by ID.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. No one's died. It must have been a successful meal. That's how I cook. Yeah, but so it's down 12.5% in the year to March 2022.
Amicable so far.
Beef, pork, and lamb faster than other meats. Consumption of those products has fallen 26%. Chicken and other meats, I'm trying to think what the other meats are down only 11%. And overall meat consumption at home is 14% lower than it was in 2012. And even when we buy takeaways, we're getting less burgers and kebabs and meat pies and the like. Is this because we're all really, really concerned about having meat in our diet for either ethical reasons or apparent health reasons? Or is it actually that this stuff's gone massively up in price? People are cutting their costs and they're just eating less of the expensive stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair point to make, Julie. And I think there's, a few issues coming together. But what's really important is that we look at this not in a vacuum, not just as a single thing.
Oh no, that phrase has come up already today.
I know, I've heard your words about Antonio Gutierrez earlier. But we look at this as part of a broader change that is happening across society. The fact that, plant-based universities, we've seen 7 universities in the last year vote to move to 100% plant-based menus, with 4 motions coming up in the next month or so. Councils all the way across the UK voting to move to 100% plant-based menus. Yeah. We've just seen, yesterday, the London Borough of Lambeth signed the plant-based treaty. So this is a much broader
this is such
move.
Abject nonsense. A plant-based treaty, for God's sake. I mean, again, they're not the UN. Let me just explain what plant-based universities is. You're part of an animal...
Why is such a big reaction to that? People are voting for it. It's what they want. People are voting it in. So I don't get why there's such a big... she's like, oh, it's such nonsense. Like, okay, chill out. Yeah, like he wasn't even finished explaining.
The Animal Rising organisation, yes. The people who try and ruin lovely big race days for people who are out having a nice drink at the races. I include
saving
myself
horse
in that.
lives would be a better way to put it.
Okay, that's what you think, but you're putting them at risk by being there in front of the horses.
Yeah. Animal Rising puts the horses at risk, not the people who breed the horses and make them race. They're not the ones putting the horses at risk. It's the protesters that are trying to stop the races from happening because it abuses horses and because horses die when they fall over the hurdles and stuff, right? That's exactly it. Yeah, good one.
I was there at Epsom when they were running in front of where the horses were going to go. You've called on
not during any race, though. Before races and between races is when they were doing it.
Is to transition to 100%, you say, just and sustainable plant-based catering to tackle the climate and nature crises. Okay, I don't accept there are crises of those kind either. But, okay, if there's an argument, I can understand from your point of view, to say to people, we think that this is a more ethical way of eating. We don't think you should be eating animals, whether it's for moral reasons about animals or whether it's because you think there's a climate catastrophe coming. Whatever hysteria we're on this week. Okay, with all due respect, let's call it what it is. It's not. It is hysteria.
Hysteria. It's hysteria to say, like, okay, if she stepped foot in a slaughterhouse and spent a couple hours there, it would no longer be what hysteria, as she puts it. She would realize the reality of the situation and why it is a moral thing to not put animals through that. These innocent animals who don't want to be killed, don't want to be stabbed, don't want any of this. Innocent, defenseless animals that are as innocent and defenseless as a child, as a human child. The same words you would use to describe a human child, how would you describe a human baby or a human child? What would you say? Innocent, defenseless, need protection, right? Vulnerable. Okay. You take all of those words and apply them to animals and they'll be perfectly valid because animals are in the same position as human babies and human children. But no, you put them in a slaughterhouse and then you're like, oh, it's hysteria because, it's hysteria that we try and stop doing this to them. No, it's not hysteria. It is an actual problem. It's actually horrific what we do to animals and the way that we abuse them and we kill them for sandwiches and things that are just completely unnecessary, especially in 2023 where we know so much more about nutrition and that we have so many more options. It's not even like 20 years ago where you would have to cook everything from scratch to be able to be a vegan, which still wouldn't have made it an excuse not to go vegan, by the way. But now when you live in the UK and there's just pre-prepared vegan meals all over the place, some healthy, some unhealthy, whatever. It's not like she eats every meal as a healthy meal, is it, right? No, now it's the most ridiculous it's ever been for somebody to be sitting there and making excuses to not be vegan, sat in the UK in 2023. Come off it.
But telling universities or a local council, you must stop serving, or you must vote to stop serving.
You must vote to stop serving. No, it's called convincing people to do the right thing. Right? The meat and dairy industry have been lobbying with money, paying people off to vote certain ways for a very, very long time. Animal Rising, all they're doing is they're saying, hey, here are all the logical reasons you should do this. We don't have money to pay you to do it, but we hope we can convince you it's the right thing to do. And fortunately, they've been succeeding and convincing these councils and universities that it is the right thing to do without buying them off, like the meat and dairy industry have been doing for the last 50, 60 years. So no, it is not telling them what to do. It is convincing them it's the right thing to do. And they look at the data and they look at what they're providing and they say, do you know what? Yeah, we should vote this in. This is the right thing to do. That's the right way of going about it if you're going to try and do this.
To the majority of people in this country, and at each university and at each council and among their staff, who eat meat or fish and enjoy it. I mean, who the hell do you think you are?
Because the majority eats it, that makes it okay. So, okay, what about we just take Germany as an example, right? In Germany, up until 1980 or something, I think it was, marital rape was legal in Germany up until the 1980s, I believe it was. Pretty recent, okay? So if it's in the law, I guess we can say that the majority of people at some point in the history of Germany's that they thought that was fine. So when that law got passed to say, no, this is now illegal, was she sat there going, well, the majority of people here have been quite happy with this law that says marital rape is legal. So, how dare you? Who do you think you are to come in and actually try and turn over this law, try and convince people that it's wrong? How dare you? You see what I mean, guys? The majority, it being the way it's been for a long time, or the majority agreeing with how something is, doesn't make that thing okay. That's not how it works. New information comes up, and new thoughts come up where they say, hey, this is the way it's always been done. And this is the way we all agree. And maybe there's laws even that make it that way. But here's a list of reasons it's not okay. So how about, can we come together and the powers that be, can we make a vote? Can we start to change these things? And then that will come down to the people and they'll say, oh, this is now how it is now. Why is that? And then they learn how it is now. And yeah, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. Right? That's unethical. It's wrong to do that. It's wrong to do that to my wife. It's wrong to do that to those animals. I agree. I'm glad that this rule changed. Or do we just go, well, it's the way we've always done it, so it's fine, right? Just keep going. The majority is cool with it, so...
Well, with this campaign in particular, it is driven by students, driven by this bottom-up grassroots movement.
The vast majority of students eat meat. So why would the vast majority of students vote for a plant-based, non-meat diet? It's a load of activists in the Students' Union, about 8 people who've got no mates.
This is hilarious, right? She's acting like these meat-eating students are being hard done by. You do realise the university themselves, that's not the only place students can buy food. Do you realise? The Students' Union, oh, is that what happens? They go to university and they're like, they go to the Students' Union, I can only buy from the Students' Union. There's nowhere else to buy food and I can't eat meat. Oh my God. No, they just go down the road to a Subway or McDonald's or a Burger King, go to the local pub and they buy whatever they want. The only thing the universities are doing is saying, hey, we believe that this is the wrong thing to do for environmental reasons, for ethical reasons. We don't want to serve this anymore. So if you're not going to eat here, we're only going to serve plant-based dishes. Then no one's forced to eat there. Okay, they have other options. Yeah, but she's acting like they're being hard done by for some reason. And yeah, maybe it is core teams of activists in the universities. But what does that matter? A core team of activists who understand all the data, who understand the moral and ethical implications of abusing animals for food, have spoken to the university, right? And given their points. And the universities have agreed and said, hey, we agree. We agree that we want to change. So what if it's 8 activists with no mates who did that? Their points stand. Their points stand up to scrutiny. That's why universities are agreeing and changing.
I haven't got a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and this is what they do to make themselves feel important. We were all of us at uni, we know those people, okay, and then they go on and become MPs, and no one likes them then either. They have these campaigns, busybodying on other people's lives.
Busybodying on other people's lives. Somebody can go to university and never step foot in a university canteen, right? Ever. Not once. If they don't want this to impact their lives, they don't have to have it impact their lives. It is ridiculous. What is she saying? She's like, I went to university, so I know how it is. Clearly, you must have forgotten then. You must have completely forgotten how it is. I think I ate at my student union on less than one hand amount of times. And I did 3 years at uni. People go to other places. There are competing places all around. Barely anybody actually spends any time at the unions for food. And actually, most people cook at home because it's too expensive to eat out all the time. Poor students, unless you're like living on mummy and daddy's money, which clearly she is, let's be honest.
What is fundamentally about is that institutions aligning what they're actually doing with their research. I mean, you've already made it very clear, Julia, that you don't think there's a climate emergency, climate crisis, whatever you want to call it. We can dispute that. But universities are proving and showing that there's vast amounts of evidence supporting the idea that a plant-based food system, a totally plant-based food system, is the most sustainable way to eat. And this isn't even if we just talk about the environment. This is talking about feeding the world's growing population. Climate aside,
I have no issue feeding the world's growing population. We produce more.
We have about 600 million people in food stress.
About 10 years ago, we had billions. We have no problem. We are producing more food using less land and fewer resources than ever before.
And see, if you remember our chat from a few months ago, how much global farmland is used for
I'm sorry, I haven't got the stat on me right now, but I'm sure you're going to tell us.
I told you a few months ago.
Well, I don't remember every single detail, Nathan. There's a lot going on.
We're looking at about 80% of global farmland that's used for animal farming.
Farmland, yes.
And would you think that produces a lot of the world's calories, a lot of our protein intake?
Your argument is that a lot of it is used for cattle and the like, and that's not sustainable. However, it does produce more of the protein calories that we need to survive.
Absolutely.
And it's more efficient. It does.
A meta-analysis of over 34,000 global farms carried out over a course of 4 to 5 years by the University of Oxford. Actually, it wasn't. It's actually fascinating, Julia. So this study indicated that around 37% of our protein is coming from animal farming, way less than a majority, and less than 20% of our calories. And you mentioned, though, it being carried out by a vegetarian or a vegan. What's wonderful is that the person who led this study, the academic who led this study, went into it omnivore, meat eater. At the end of the 4 or 5 years, once it was published, he turned around, had time to think about it. He was like, I'm holding my hands up and I'm following the science that I have gone and produced.
And so he's given up meat and become boring.
No
one
can disagree on that.
Benedict, I knew.
You can't really. You're trying to. It's like trying to play chess with a baby. You know what I mean? It's like you can make the best chess moves. You can play really well, but the baby is just gonna throw up on the chessboard, right? It's not gonna. You're not gonna prove anything to this baby. This baby's gonna shit in their hand and just rub it on the board, right? And you're gonna go, oh, but I made the better chess move, and the baby's just gonna go. Bleh. This is what's happening here. Nathan's having a drink of water because he's just like, yeah, just sit back. Like, what's the point? What's the point? Here's why universities are coming on board with this, right? This percent, that percent. You see, your stats are wrong, Julia. And here's what's going on, all right? It's a good thing, plant-based food system. Yeah, but it's boring. It's boring, though. Fuck it out. Just really highbrow news reporting here, right? This is like really talk TV, right up there, guys. Right up there with the greats. Award-winning.
You are desperate to come in. Come on.
Do you know what? I'm going to sound like even more of a bore than the vegans because I think that people.
No, that's not.
I think that people should eat less but better quality meat.
Yes.
Actually, this is my stance on this: is that if you were to just sort of get rid of the meat industry altogether, I don't think that solves the world's environmental problems, and also it removes the reason for billions of animals to actually exist. But if you need that land then to grow crops on, so you.
Fucking hell, mate. Okay. So his logic here is if we don't have the meat and dairy industries of animal agriculture, we remove the reason for them to even exist. So we should keep on breeding them, having farmers shove their arms inside them and inject them with semen, whack off bulls and whack off other animals to get the semen to inject. Keep them in confinement, abuse their bodies and use their bodies for whatever we need, and keep killing them. Because if we don't do that, they never would have existed. Jesus, mate. What a... And he's serious. He's wearing the little tie and the blazer, and he's acting like he's very serious. You know, this is a very serious point. Bro, come off it. It's the equivalent. It's the equivalent of saying, I'm going to go here, guys. We'll go into a place here. Listen, look, I know the slave trade is bad, all right, but look, if we abolish the slave trade, then, you know, we're going to be abolishing the reason for these people to even exist. People will stop breeding them into existence, right? And you know, we can't abolish the slave trade. We can't do that, all right? And by the way, before you get triggered, the non-vegans who've got this far, oh, you're comparing, it's just like, there's many, many, many iterations of slavery. I'm not just talking about the most recent one, ancient Rome, ancient Egypt, right? There's tons and tons of examples of where they had slave families and they would make them have babies, and sometimes they would even have studs, as in a guy, like a slave man with good genetics, big, strong, and they'd make him bang as many of the slave women as possible to get strong workers. But, you know, if we stopped all of that, he would never bang all those, and we'd never get these new, you know, we'd be taking away their reason to exist. And that's terrible, isn't it? Yeah, that will be just terrible. That would be a, wow.
You'll be ending up killing them either way. What I think people should do
No,
is...
No, you can't kill them. They're not here to be killed. The goal is to have no more of them being created. And then some people say, oh, but vegans are crazy. They're nihilistic. This is horrible. These poor animals would never exist. You want them to go extinct? Well, yes, they're human-made animals. They're genetic. They're completely messed up genetically. They suffer with health issues. They suffer because of the way we've bred them. It's the same with, for example, pugs. A good example in dogs, pugs or German shepherds. Pugs can't breathe. German shepherds, their backs give way when they get to a certain age, and then they have to be put down at the age of like 7 or 8 years old, which is about half of what, or just under half of what a dog should be living, right? Just over half. So it's the same there. It's like if you told me, oh, would you rather these animals that suffer tremendously just didn't exist? The ones that we've created, and instead that, you know, we don't have these systems that keep breeding them, keep breeding these dogs, keep breeding these cows, keep breeding these pigs with all their health issues. Could we stop these industries right now and no more of them get bred in, no more of them are created, and the ones that we do have slowly obviously die out of old age and whatever? Why would you not want that? Why would you want to keep creating more of these animals that have this horrible life of abnormalities and health issues and all this stuff? Why would you want to play God like that and just say, no, we want to keep on breeding these deformed dogs, keep on breeding these deformed cows and pigs and chickens that can't even walk properly because of how heavy they get, pigs that get all these different tumors, cows that get all these different infections and problems as well? Why would you want to keep this whole thing going? It's wild that would even be a... He's not thought it through, has he? That's what's going on.
Pay more attention to where they get their meat from. Yeah. Be happy to spend more on it. Eat it less often, as it used to be. Yeah. Actually, before everything became factory.
Every meal. I mean, exactly.
Absolutely.
I think most people I know, and I'm by no means vegetarians in my family. I've told my daughter, if you become a vegetarian, you'll have to go and get yourself adopted somewhere else. It's not gonna. It's fussy eating, and it's not allowed in my house. Simple as that. You've got to have rules, people.
She's a complete idiot, isn't she? My daughter can sod off if she turns vegetarian because that means it's fussy eating. You know, I hope your daughter goes vegan and tells you where to shove it, to be honest with you. Tells you where to shove it, where the sun don't shine. Because you are an insufferable person.
As a parent. But this is my thing, is that we tend to eat less meat. We try and eat more fish. You probably don't approve of that. But we try and eat less meat just to be healthy and to have more vegetables as the basis of our diet, which is healthier, we know.
So wait, so she's eating less meat and more vegetables. But if her daughter said, I actually just want to eat vegetables, she'd disown her. How can you be so just not self-aware of what you're saying, the words that are coming out of your mouth? What's most likely happening here is she's just chatting absolute shit. And she's not eating more vegetables and she's not eating less meat. She's just saying it. And people just say things, you know. People just say things like this on TV to like sound good or suit what they want to, the image they want to put out there. She's probably just eating as many animal products as she always was and just claims that she's like reducing.
And better, for weight loss and the like. But I consider meat to be absolutely vital. And there are certainly, if I go a couple of weeks without red meat, I will absolutely crave it. But the key thing here is
it's vital because I crave it. So yeah, I went a couple of weeks without eating donuts, and you look, donuts are absolutely vital because after a couple of weeks without them, I really craved a donut. Yeah, solid, good, reasonable way of seeing things.
Should be a matter of choice rather than people effectively being forced into it. And when people do have the choice,
it is a matter of choice. The people you're referring to can eat anywhere they want, and they don't have to eat at the university.
if you go to like a hotel buffet or the canteen, and people will be choosing meat. That's what they want to have. If this is something people want to do, then that's fine, and I'm all for people having those choices in
we're
restaurants.
seeing that students are voting in record numbers for this.
Most students don't take part in any votes at all because they're busy getting off with people in the pub, like normal students should be.
No, you can try and make the world a better place.
I was at university, and I can assure you, people voting in the Students' Union were not having fun doing the other stuff at all. But this is the thing. I agree with Benedict in terms of, I think we should have higher standards. I don't think you should be able to buy a whole chicken for £1. I think we need to be keeping animals in much better conditions, and that will therefore increase the cost.
Why? Why do you want to be keeping animals in better conditions? Why not buy a whole chicken for £1? Answer that question, why? Well, because you care about animals, right? Julia Hartley Brewer, you care about animal welfare. Or I'll assume you do, and you're not just saying this as lip service. Because you don't want to see animals abused. You don't want to see them treated badly. Well, now you understand veganism. That is literally the reason people don't want to pay for these products, is because there is no way to take animals and breed them and use their bodies and then kill them for products without being cruel to them. It is an industry that is literally dependent on animal cruelty. There is no way of doing it otherwise. The same way that the human slavery industry is dependent on cruelty to humans, because keeping them against their will is by definition cruel. The simple act of breeding an animal or capturing an animal and keeping them for profit is cruel. Anything that just from the beginning, from the outset, it's cruelty and it's exploitation. Now, what happens after that, unfortunately, only gets worse, because then they do all these things to them. They inject them with all different stuff, antibiotics, sometimes hormones. They cut off their tails, cut off their beaks. They take them away from their mothers. They impregnate their mothers over and over again in the dairy industry. And then they kill the mothers when they don't make as much milk anymore. They kill the baby boys in the dairy industry, the boy calves, because they can't produce milk, so they get sold off to be killed. How do they kill them? They slash their throats. They gas them. They electrocute them. All these different things. So usually what will happen is, to all animals, right, one of these things, and then this thing will happen. Every animal in animal agriculture will be shot in the head, or gassed, or drowned, or suffocated, or electrocuted. One of those. And then they'll be slashed across the throat with a knife. Some of them won't have any of those things happen, and they'll just get slashed across the throat with a knife. That's kosher or halal. That is unavoidable. That is how all of them will go. Every single animal in animal agriculture will end that way. So, yeah, if you care about them, if you don't want cruelty, if you don't want violence to animals, you don't agree with that, that's why you should be a vegan.
I think we should be paying more, and the supermarket should be paying more. We need much higher ethical standards. I absolutely agree with that. But I don't have an ethical problem with eating meat, and I certainly don't. I know for a fact there isn't a climate emergency around people eating meat, as long as it's part of a healthy, balanced diet. But my kind of question to you really is just...
I'm also really sick of this healthy, balanced diet stuff. It really pisses me off, because people say it to make themselves sound like they know what they're talking about. Healthy, balanced diet. Nutritious, healthy, balanced diet. Things like that. These health charlatans use it a lot. These anti-vegan carnivore idiots use it a lot. And on news reports, they do it a lot too. On Talk TV especially. It's something that people have grown to enjoy hearing. And when it's associated with meat, it makes them feel really good about eating meat because it's wholesome. It's a very wholesome sounding sentence. It is nothing but propaganda, and they know what they're doing. I mean, oh, to be fair, she might have been propagandized with it too. Maybe she's just repeating the stuff she's heard, and then other people repeat it. Healthy, balanced diet, healthy, balanced diet. And there are people out there like farmers that do it when they get on TV. They repeat this stuff over and over again. Healthy, balanced diet, healthy, balanced diet. Don't fall for that nonsense, guys. It's just a way of getting you to stop applying yourself and just believe what they say. They've pre-prepared your beliefs for you to convince you, right? So propaganda, that's what it is. And then you just repeat that to somebody else and you don't have to think about it. That's the point of it. It makes your brain switch off.
Why is it that people who feel so strongly like that, like, it doesn't bother me if someone's vegan or vegetarian. I've got plenty of those people come for dinner and I have to cater around them. Why is it that people who are on that side of the debate feel the need to tell us what to do?
I'm not telling you what to do, and in fact, it's a growing movement.
It's
just
literally
happening,
your student
Julia.
body
You
does
have to
that.
deal with it.
It literally tells students you can't eat meat.
It's not at all. The students have voted. This is insane. The students have voted for this. They want this. And it's telling the students they can't eat meat at the student canteens, at the student unions. It's not telling them what to do elsewhere or what they can't do elsewhere. And the reason, anyway, that some people, activists, are telling people to not eat meat, are telling people to not eat animal products and to be vegan, like myself. Why am I putting this out to the world? I'm not telling people what to do. I'm telling people what I think they should do if they care about animals. So I'm not saying you do this now. No, it's not that. I'm trying to convince you. I'm trying to convince you to see what I see, to see what we see, and to make a difference because you're not a bad person. You're not a disgusting scumbag who hates animals. So that's why I'm trying to convince you. And the reason that doesn't happen the other way around is because what are you going to say to me? Oh, you're a vegan. You love animals too much. You should eat meat. Like, why would you even say that? That's not something that anyone gets passionate about. Whereas we get passionate because we know you care about animals and we want to convince you to also care as much as we do to actually show that you care and make the changes in your life that prove that. That's why we are more vocal than the other side of this, because the other side is the default, is animal abuse of default, and we are not. I don't get why this is so difficult for these types to understand. They tend to really, why did you just leave us to do what we want? Why is it always you guys telling us what to do? It's like, man, because you're paying into all of the industries that I just explained earlier, and you claim to care about animals. That's all. We care about animals. That's it. And we want you to care too. That's it. Or actually prove you care by taking action to show it. Guys, is that difficult to understand? You tell me, is that difficult to understand? You can spam broccolis in the chat if you think that that's easy to understand and that people play silly buggers on this.
The university living up to the research that they provide, and this is happening not just in the UK, it's happening in the EU and the United States.
Oh, well, if it's happening in the EU, it must be
this is a shift that is happening as people become more aware of the world around them. And you just have to deal with it, Julia.
Or are people eating less
You just have to deal with it, Julia. Nice, Nathan. Good job.
meat because they can't afford it at the moment, because they're poor? Because we're spending a load of money on net zero nonsense in our taxes and because of this climate hysteria?
Absolutely not. You know, if we look at, Beyond Meat, for example, their stocks dropped this year, less people eating that.
Because,
but supermarket own
okay.
brand ranges
They're shouting at me in my ear. We're going to have to win. We could do the next hour on this, I can assure you. Nathan, I really appreciate you joining us, Nathan McGovern.
Yeah, it basically is, as I said, like trying to play chess with a baby. It just shits and pukes up all over the chessboard. And then you're like, okay, I made all the best moves, but it doesn't matter, does it? Nathan, good job, mate. He did the best he could here, Nathan, and he tried his hardest, went in armed with the data. But the data doesn't matter when you're fighting with someone like that. But hey, I'm a big fan of Nathan. I think he does a pretty good job of getting out there and trying to bring some sense to this. But yeah, he's doing his best. He's doing his best. Good job, man. Veg90, thank you for the tip, mate. How do you think Gary Yourofsky's style would do nowadays? Oof, he probably would be super viral nowadays, probably more viral or as viral as he was before. But I also think he would probably get a lot of heat in a negative way. He'd probably get his social media taken down and stuff because he's so outspoken and he doesn't apologize for anything and doesn't ever apologize for being outspoken. And he has a lot of opinions on a lot of topics. And I think Instagram would take him down. I think Facebook would take him down. YouTube would probably take him down. So I think he'd struggle. But he'd get invited on shows and he'd be on Piers Morgan and stuff like that. So I think he definitely have some success for sure. Good question. Thanks, mate. Alan Parkin, thank you for the super chat, mate. And YouTube tells me that's your first ever super chat. So awesome. Welcome. Welcome to the team. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for supporting me in the stream. And guys, remember, if you also want to support me, support the stream, support us doing this work and all the work that we do for animals, you can do super chats, you can do Streamlabs tips. It really helps. Also, check this out. You guys might not know this. We got one more video, by the way, to react to. Just FYI, don't go anywhere. We got one more video to take a look at. I'm just doing a little break to tell you something. So my Patreon and YouTube team members, okay, you guys out there, you guys that are in the second tier, so the Meat Flake Challenger tier it's called, if you guys are in that tier, you now have access to 2 exclusive videos that nobody else has. You've got access to I did a vegan stand-up comedy gig in Helsinki. You got access to that. That's been out for about a week now or so, and people really like it, so that's cool. I roasted a meat eater in the front row and everything. It was pretty cool. And you also have access, that's pretty cool, by the way. I think that's good for just pure entertainment value. I think you'll enjoy it. The second thing you have access to, if you're in that tier, the video I released yesterday about the activist who got jailed, you'll notice in the video, I interview Zoe Rosenberg from Direct Action Everywhere. She explains the whole situation. That's actually a 1-hour interview that I did with her that you can't get the full hour unless you're in my team. That's exclusive to you right now. So the video yesterday was 20 minutes and it had some little clips from the interview, but the full interview video is available right now on Patreon and to the YouTube members at the Meat Flake Challenger level and up. So that's really cool. One more thing, and then we'll get back into the reactions. The same people, you guys in the YouTube memberships team and the Patreon team at the Meat Flake Challenger level and up. One more video coming soon. I just interviewed Cam Waters, the co-creator of Christspiracy. Very excited to show you this video. I'm currently piecing together about a 20-minute video with some clips from the interview and some stuff about Christspiracy, and I'm going to create a really cool video from it. And again, the full 1-hour interview, actually this one was an hour and a half. This was a long interview where he explains his religious beliefs. I actually get into my religious beliefs and ask him some questions where I'm kind of, thinking about spirituality and stuff, and some stuff that will not be in the main video, which you'll find very interesting because it's about animal rights, spirituality, and religion. And there's some really interesting stuff he said that's not going to be in the main video because it's specifically for the vegans, and I wanted to keep this just for the vegans and keep the video more aimed at non-vegans because we want to reach non-vegans, right? So yeah, the full video, the full interview with Cam from Christspiracy, that's going to be up on the Patreon and the YouTube members soon. So if all of that sounds interesting to you guys, that is a good reason to join and become part of the David Rams team, or the Ram fam, as some of you guys call it. And obviously, as a bonus, you're supporting me. You're supporting what I do. You're supporting the animal rights work I do, the vegan content we make, and all the stuff that we're doing behind the scenes. So I think it's just all around wins, in my opinion. So be a legend. Join up. Let's get into this reaction then. Let's look at the next video we've got lined up for you guys today. Actually, I'll just close that while I get it sorted. So this is the David Packman show, it's called. I think I've come across this guy before, but I can't remember. Oh, there's a pretty big deal, this guy. So he's got almost 2 million subs. David Packman show, 1.97 million subs. Did a video 5 days ago. Caller unleashes anti-vegan attack. Voicemail caller responds to requests for David to debate a vegan by attacking veganism and vegetarianism on the basis of sustainability. So it's only 4 minutes. I thought it was interesting to... I've not watched it. I don't know what happens in this video, but we can have a look and see what is going on.
We have a voicemail number. That number is 219-2DavidP. Last week, I got a voicemail asking for me to debate a vegan. And overwhelmingly, people have said, David, don't do it.
I wonder why people don't want him to do it. Probably because if he's a reasonable person, he would end up agreeing with the vegan and going vegan, and they don't want that to happen. But hey, David Packman, if you change your mind and you want to do that, actually, I'd come on your show and have a chat with you. It doesn't need to be a debate. It could be a discussion.
for a whole bunch of different reasons. Even most of the vegans who wrote in said, David, don't do it. It's just pointless.
Why would a vegan write in and say, don't do it, it's pointless? So they weren't vegan then, obviously.
Here is someone who called in, not only saying don't debate the vegan, but also saying really negative things about vegans and vegetarians. Take a listen to this.
Let's hear it.
Hi, this is Sarah from Prior Lake again. I thought of another comment after a bit with people who go for a vegan or vegetarian diet. They're not helping the planet much, I don't think, because, of course, their foods aren't right from their area, but they're coming from all parts of the world. You know, the nuts are being transported probably from parts of the South. Dates and things are certainly coming from there or from Africa. Or
That's true, because like only vegans eat nuts and dates, guys. That's it. That's all we eat. Just nuts and dates. And the entire nuts and date industries are propped up specifically by vegans. That's how it goes, yeah.
Probably from Europe. And so
there's many dates in Arizona, although I don't know how much they are sourced that way versus another way.
They think that they're helping the planet, but all the transportation for these types of foods that are not native to their area, not grown in their area, are helping pollute the earth. So that's no solution. I was listening to Bioneers the other night, and the architect, who is an advocate for a better environment, said that 40% of pollution comes from our homes.
Okay, so listen, for every argument I have ever heard in favor of veganism, I have also heard a counter argument, okay? What about this? What about that? Well, we should get our protein from these sources. Okay, but if everybody were to get the protein from those vegan sources, you would need monoculture fields, which is also not so good for the environment. Or
you mean like the monoculture fields that already exist to grow animal feed to feed 80 billion animals a year? You mean like those fields, right? Those ones? Is that what you're referring to? That's a really, really bad retort to that argument. Yeah, they already exist. We already grow enough edible food, human edible food, to feed the population. It's just that it's all fed to animals in animal agriculture, who are then used and killed and then fed to people, rich people, specifically rich people, because poor people can't afford animal products because they're more expensive. Poor people tend to mostly eat vegetable-based products, plant-based products, because they're cheaper. So yeah, it basically, all those monocrops that he's referring to are literally just to prop up an industry that feeds rich people like yourself, David Packman, unfortunately.
We get our protein from avocados and almonds. Okay, but the amount...
Not a lot of protein in avocados, I don't think, mate, but avocados are a source of fat. And almonds, no, I don't recommend anyone... I mean, almonds are also full of fat. I mean, I wouldn't recommend anyone rely on almonds or avocados as their primary sources of protein, to be totally honest with you. What you want to be doing is having a combination of different foods that all have varying amounts of protein. And then obviously now where we're going to go after this is the amino acid problem that people bring up. Oh, but some of them are incomplete, blah, blah, blah. It is impossible to eat an amino acid deficient meal unless you are extremely limited. If you just eat rice, then yes, it's deficient. But if you eat a normal meal, then it is impossible to have a protein deficient meal, an amino acid protein deficient meal, because it just is. You can look it up in a non-vegan way. The only food you can eat that doesn't have amino acids, I think, or any, is gelatin, I think it was. And everything else has them in varying amounts. And when you put them in a meal, like rice and beans, for example, full profile, fine, no problem, you're fine. Not people aren't just eating rice and beans for every meal. They're eating lots of different stuff. So, but anyway, protein sources anyway. Yes, nuts are a good source of protein. Not the only one though. You've got legumes like lentils, You got different types of beans like garbanzos. Why am I saying it in Spanish? Chickpeas, garbanzo beans. You got all different types of beans. You got all different types of seeds. You've got pretty much every single vegetable has protein in it. So if you eat a lot of different vegetables, you'll be combining them. Also, I think TVP is a pretty good one. Texturized vegetable protein or texturized soy protein, soy crumbles, stuff like that. And before anyone goes off about, oh, soy destroys the rainforest, blah, blah, blah. No, most soy is grown to feed to animals. So that's just not the case, that the vegans are responsible for that. What else would you go for protein-wise? The tahini is a good one. The sesame seeds basically crunched up into tahini. That's a really lots of fat in that though, so be careful. Hummus is, again, lots of fat in that, so you gotta be wary of it. Don't overload it. What else do I do for a very proteiny? Off the top of my head, I pretty much just list. Oh yeah, seitan's a good one. That's a good one. Tofu. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. And then if you're some kind of bodybuilder, you're trying to get gains, then you add some protein powders and stuff to it. And nothing wrong with doing that. That's what all the athletes do, right? It's not like you're bad for doing protein powders. It just makes life more convenient and more easy. Nothing wrong with it. So yeah, there we go.
Water that those require and the number of salamanders and voles and whatever else, mice that are killed by draining their habitats to water the almond and avocado. Here's my view on this.
Yeah, before you get his view on this, if you care about animals and insects, you could even include being killed by agricultural systems or their habitats being destroyed or whatever. When it comes to plant products, you are obviously we live in a world where people don't consider animals to be of any value. That's why people breed them and kill them, right? So why would they consider voles or newts or lizards or insects to have any value? They don't. Farmers don't. So we're in a world where farmers, they don't care about that stuff, right? Which is not ideal. We'd rather they did care and did things differently, and that's a world that we may get to one day once we stop breeding animals and slashing their throats, because one of them won't come before the other. You get me? But anyway, so in plant agriculture, yes, it's imperfect. You've got these ways that animals are harmed. In animal agriculture, you've got that same problem because they're growing plants to feed those animals. So all those issues you just said, all the different things that cause harm to the environment and to animals in that area exist in plant agriculture. And then let me just make sure my hands are in the screen here. So you got all that in plant agriculture. I'll put that in the middle. You got all that in plant agriculture. So here we are, plant agriculture, okay? Okay. So here's plant agriculture by itself, and then here's plant agriculture, and then, but what happens after the plants are grown in the animal ag industry? Well, then you've also got all the animals that are killed specifically to be eaten or whatever, used and abused and killed to be eaten and killed in slaughterhouses, right? So here's the plant ag, and here's the animal ag and the plant ag. You see, it's not the same. So if something you care about crop deaths, you care about all these animals and having their habitats potentially destroyed or whatever, and being killed and all this stuff, the best thing you can do is, as a first step, is to eat plant-based and try to stop that industry, right? And then once you get the majority of people on board with that being wrong, it is wrong to breed and kill animals, then we can turn towards, hey, plant farmers, can we come up with solutions so that you don't kill animals while you're growing plants? Because it's not like it's a necessity to kill animals to grow plants, but farmers do that though, right? So, we need to come up with a solution for that, but we're not going to get to the solution for that while this is still happening. It's not going to happen, right? It's just not, it will not happen. One cannot come before the other. So yeah, there you go.
And we're not going to host a debate on this show, but my view for a long time has been,
I thought so. Well, don't host a debate then. Host a discussion or come on, have a chat.
What we have really good evidence for is that for health reasons, limiting intake of meat and especially trying to get your meat intake from leaner meats, right? I'll make a Hanukkah brisket, of course, but I'm not having red meat often at all. When I get a hankering for some breakfast meat, I'll get no sugar turkey bacon. Okay. The point here is, it seems that in general, it's a good thing to eat a Mediterranean style diet. And so that's what I'm doing. I have no issue with anybody else eating whatever.
Yeah, because you have no issue with anybody else eating whatever they want or whatever, because you've completely avoided. So he's touched on the two of the things that people talk about. He's touched on the environment and he's touched on health. Isn't it funny how most of these people never, ever discuss animals and what they go through? They never touch it because they know they've got nothing. Because they either have to admit, like Tristan Tate did, that they're just an uncaring, borderline, just complete narcissistic way of looking at it, right? Like, oh, I only care about me, my beliefs, and my property, and property is all that matters, and I don't give a shit otherwise. Which makes you into, you know, it's that Tristan Tate's audience likes that, his audience wouldn't like that. So either he has to admit that, or he has to say he cares about animals. And then comes the vegan question. Hey, if you care about animals, then why would you not just be a vegan then? I mean, why would you put them through all the hell they go through in animal agriculture? Why would you pay farmers to forcibly breed them, shove arms inside them, inject them with all different hormones, antibiotics, and then you're paying some slaughterhouse to gas them, electrocute them, suffocate them, and shoot them in the head and slit their throats? Doesn't sound like you really care about animals to me, mate. And then he'd have to be like, oh, make a load of excuses. That's why they avoid it.
Whatever diet they want. And it's just really not a debate. This voicemail and the voicemail from last week are exactly why I have no plans to stage any debates about this issue. All right, on the bonus show, George Santos survived.
Yeah, you know, and it doesn't surprise me that he's avoiding it. This video is a bit like a cope video, really. He's just kind of making excuses as to why he's avoiding it, when the real reason he's avoiding it is because he knows how it's going to go, and knows it wouldn't be good for him, you know, which is a shame because he's very influential. He's got 2 million subs, and he is somebody who is actively participating in the system that he refuses to discuss. So it's not like he is a vegan that doesn't want to host vegan debates, which would be fine if you're not part of the issue. Then why would you got your right to step out of that, right? But he's actively causing the problems for animals, but refuses to discuss it. That's lame, dude. That's lame. Making this video itself is lame. I guess people call in, and I guess he's got to respond to something, and that's why he's done this kind of cope video. But I don't know, dude. That's pretty weak. But anyway, if David Packman, if you see this, I don't know, dude, 1.97 million subs, probably not going to see it. But if you do see it, if I make a clip of this or whatever, I'd be happy to come on and just have a chat. It doesn't have to be a debate, just a chat. And if your audience would like that, and if you would like that, and just very low key, then, you know, I think that would be fine, right? But yeah, we never know. Dillian, cheers for the tip, mate. This argument is basically made to poke holes at vegan ethics so that people can paint us as hypocrites and dismiss what we are actually saying. They don't truly care about the plant farm and crop deaths, something we should discuss. Something we should discuss with other vegans. Totally, you're 100% right, Dillian, mate. It's all it is a distraction. Like you said, a way to point out hypocrisy in vegans to make themselves feel better about continuing to pay people to stab animals in the neck. That's literally all it is. And you are 100% right. The people who should be discussing the crop deaths of plant agriculture are the vegans, because we've already made big steps to take us to a place where now this is a priority for us to discuss, because we no longer fund animal ag. Saying that though, animal ag is still a priority because they have crop deaths and they have direct animal killing. All of it is there, right? So it's still, the priority is still animal ag. The priority is still to try and get people to realize that that's wrong. And the second priority is definitely going to be crop deaths in plant-based agriculture. Because, as I said, how are you going to get people to care about insects and little mice in a field where you can't even get them to care about pigs, chickens, turkeys, cows, and all different other animals that are literally bred by farmers, forcibly injected with all kinds of crap, and then used and abused and killed, and that just cycle keeps going and going and going. If they don't care about that, they ain't going to care about this. Nothing's going to happen, is it, right? Nothing's going to change, so. Veg 90, cheers for the tip, mate. A bit of his ethical stance you sent me. Oh, so this is this guy's that we just looked at, and he's got another video about his ethical stance. So let me have a look. Just pull up this video and we'll take a look at it. Cheers for the tip, mate. Guys, if you've got other videos you want me to take a look at that are relevant to what we're doing today, you know, relevant to what we're into, I'll take a look. Why the hell do I have to log in again? Bear with me 1 second. I'm just logging in to get your link, and then we'll. Are you fucking kidding me right now? What's this? No. What's going on right now? Streamlabs is acting like I have never been on before. But the bloody hell's bloody. Just bear with me. You know what? I'm just gonna try and copy it from your thing. Guys, give me some broccolis. I feel like I need broccolis right now. In the chat. Let's go. Let's go. If you're having a nice time. We'll get to this video shortly as soon as I figured out what the bloody hell's going on over here. All right. Let's get this video here. Okay. Copy. Here we go. Got it. Having some technical difficulties. Okay. Well, did you not just send me the same one, or am I getting? No, you didn't. There's something else in it. I see broccolis. Thanks, guys. I appreciate this moral support right now. I'm getting a little bit of a... Okay, Veg90, what is the name of that video you sent? Because I can't get the link. So can you tell me the name of it, if that's all right? And then I can try and find this clip that you've sent through, because I'm having a bit of trouble. Oh, you've put it in the chat. Thank you. If you can't find it, David Packman Vegan, and it's the one with him and a cow. Perfect. Thank you for that, mate. I had some issues right now. I just can't get it up. Oh, fuck's sake. That's not happened, okay, guys? Never, ever. Maybe when I used to drink, but just, only on occasion, all right? Come on. Every guy's been through it, all right? Right? Every guy's had that happen, right? Okay. Vegan caller confronts me, wants to talk to a cow, it says. So this is the one we're gonna look at. And there's a couple. Is it interesting? So he's had this happen a couple times over the years. All right, well we'll check out this one then. Cool. Vegan caller confronts me, wants me to talk to a cow.
Let's take some calls from people in the audience. We do this via Discord at davidpackman.com/Discord. As a reminder, if you are in the Discord waiting to talk to me, your nickname should be your name and where you're calling from. And
if he does this a lot, maybe we could do this then. I mean, this video didn't get that many views, actually, for considering his subscriber count. But yeah,
anything else, including name only or nicknames or usernames, you are unfortunately going to get skipped over. The requirement for the format is name and
let's get to it.
Jay, welcome.
Okay.
Hey, David.
How are you?
My question is...
Yes.
How do you justify eating meat, dairy, and eggs?
Who do I have to justify it to?
Well, when there's a victim involved, wouldn't you have to justify it to them?
I don't know. Is that if you perceive that there are victims, every victim gets an explanation? I don't even know what you're saying.
Well, yeah. So like if you or someone decides to eat meat, dairy, and eggs,
yeah,
and if animals are dying for that decision,
yeah,
that's being made over and over again, do you feel like you could justify making that decision to that victim who has to suffer and die for it?
Like, for example, when I have my cappuccino, could I go to a cow and say, tell the cow why I'm drinking their milk, for example?
Yeah, like that cow who...
He's like successfully kind of pulled the rug out from underneath the caller right away. In my opinion, he's been able to take it into a really silly place immediately. How do you justify doing it? It's basically the same as asking, what is your reasoning for it? Right? So basically he's asking, why do you do it? Because I like it. And then you'd go from there, I suppose, in a more like, okay, well, you like it, that's fine. What do you know about where these things come from? What do you know about where the products come from? Explain that bit. And then, okay. And then, so now you know this. Would you say you are against those things? Like what happens to a cow in the dairy industry? Here's what happens. She's forcibly bred. They shove arms inside her to get her pregnant. They take her baby away when she has a baby, and they'll either kill the baby or do the same thing to the baby that they do to her. And they keep this cycle over and over and over and over until eventually she produces less milk, and then they'll send her to a slaughterhouse and she'll be killed. That's a pretty horrible life, I think. Would you agree with me? That's not this unpleasant life. She just loses her babies constantly, and they keep on milking her. And then eventually, when they're done with her, they just discard her. And she's alive. She's a real living, feeling, thinking animal, right? So how do you feel about that? Obviously, I don't care about that. Well, then there you go. That's how he's justifying it, isn't it? That's it. He doesn't care. Right. Okay. Well, I'll talk to somebody who does care then, because I think that's a pretty horrible view you have on the world. Oh yeah, I don't like that. Okay, then. So then what's your reasoning to continue paying for it? So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know where this is going to go, but it seems like off the bat, he's done a good job. This David Packman's done a good job of, somebody put in here, appeal to ridicule, or I think, but if that's what it's called. But basically, yeah, he's just pulled the rug out here.
Had to endure multiple pregnancies and then be separated from their child. And then, of course, if the child is a male, the males in the dairy industry almost always, they always get separated on the first day of life.
It's good that he's explaining this.
And oftentimes they're killed on the first or second day of life. And this process will happen over and over again to the mother cows, like several times, until they can no longer produce milk any longer.
Or less.
And then they'll ultimately get sent to the slaughterhouse. So yeah, like in scenario that you're painting, like with the cappuccino, do you think that there is a moral justification for consuming animal products if it's not a necessity, if we could just be using plant-based alternatives instead?
So the problem I have with this entire framing is that it's so absolutist and narrow, and it's not really like the way the world actually works. So for example,
go on then, explain how it really is.
Sometimes you follow these things to their logical conclusion. Like, I read a lot about this, and hopefully you'll indulge me for a moment. If we say, okay, eliminate all animal products whatsoever.
Yeah, why are we going here? He specifically asked you about what you think of the dairy industry. Why can you not answer that question?
Great. So that now puts an incredible strain on a handful of crops, which now need to be grown in dramatically larger quantities in order to replace all of those animal products.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the reason that he's not a vegan, is because he's thinking about globally. That's what he's considering. It's nothing to do with the fact that he just likes to drink milk and he's desperately scrambling for excuses now this guy's made him feel bad. No, it's because he's thinking about the global situation with crop. Yeah, sure, mate. Yeah.
This creates absolutely massive monoculture farms, which are absolutely terrible for the environment.
Which we've already been through, is already happening for all the cows that he is buying the dairy from, because they're being fed with different various monocropped plant products and grains and all these different things to feed them, and also supplemented with B12 and also pumped full of antibiotics to make sure that they don't get sick, because when they're being bred and kept in such close proximity to each other with all these horrible conditions, they regularly get pretty sick. So yeah, let's ignore all of that and just make some silly excuses.
Many of these monocultures require absolutely bonkers amounts of water in order to generate equivalent amounts of, for example, protein. The water use also leads to many animals dying every.
Yeah, and all the water used to grow the crops for those animals, and then all the water that you have to give to those animals over their lifetimes, which if they're in the meat industry is a pretty short life, but there's a lot of them, like many billions of them. Whereas if in the dairy industry, the lives are a bit longer, so a lot more water's used not only for the crops to feed them, but also for the animals themselves. But let's pretend that's not the case again.
Everything from mice to, all sorts of other things. And so we can do the entire thing that I gather is what you would consider to be morally right. And then we would still end up killing so many animals by virtue of how we restructure and reorganize what humans eat. Are we really better off by killing different animals through drought and monoculture, etc.? I mean, I don't know. You tell me.
So
how do you justify it to them?
I would be interested.
So his basic argument back is, I kill a lot. I directly pay people to stab and exploit and abuse animals. But hey, look, the plant-based system would also have animals dying. So, you know, why should I change? Like, yeah, sure, mate. That's like going to a serial killer and the serial killer and going, why'd you kill people, man? I mean, how do you justify being a serial killer? And they go, serial killer? What do you mean, man? Look, just existing causes death, right? If I drive my car tomorrow, you drive your car, you might hit a human. It could happen. And also just by driving the car, there is death happening, right? So forget me and being a serial killer. What about you? How do you justify getting in your car knowing that you're more than likely to kill an animal, or many insects, and potentially humans too? Why are you pointing the finger at me as a serial killer? You know? Yeah, sure. Or a more spicy example, which I gave a while back, which I can do it if you want to do it, but it was with the Nazi with the finger on the button to turn on the showers, right? Is there finger on the button? Someone comes over and goes, "Hey, well, what are you doing? Why are you about to do that? That's not right. You shouldn't do that." And then they go, "Oh, listen, why are you judging me? You know, what are you doing about people dying of diseases, or, you know, dying in building sites or getting hit by cars? Maybe you ought to look at yourself, mate. Forget what I'm doing. Take a look at the things that you're involved in." Like, what? Dude, no, like, we focus on the ones who are doing mass killings by gassing, by the way, which was a part of what was happening in 1940s Germany and is also still a part of what happens to animals today. The gassing of millions, tens of millions of pigs is happening all over the world. Gas-chambered pigs is what bacon is what pork is. So this David Packman is basically, in those scenarios, has been the serial killer or the Nazi, saying, well, I mean, you know, existence causes harm and death, so why should I stop pushing the button to turn on the showers? Why should I stop serial killing? Why should I stop paying people to stab animals in the throat in the tens of billions? Come on, dude.
In responding to that counterpoint that you brought up, but you did kind of not answer the question I asked, David.
The answer to my question is, I don't know what I would tell a cow. I've never spoken to a cow, so I don't know. But what I'm telling you is, it's the type of question that's really just a black hole. It doesn't really go anywhere.
No, it's not, though, is it? It's you avoiding answering the question because you know that you're full of it.
In terms of answering the broader questions about how would we feed the planet on 5 monoculture crops that would have to be.
It's so funny. It's like, dude, we're not asking you to solve the world's issues, the plant-based economy, the plant-based, you know, structures of the world. We're asking you specifically as an individual, why do you live this way and how do you explain it knowing all the harm it causes?
Exploded, you know, 1,000,000% in order to replace all the animal products. You're not answering that question to me, which is okay too.
Okay.
What I'm telling you is your framing is arbitrarily narrow and
so
sort of myopic.
Funny.
Well, I can respond to that counterpoint that you bring up.
Okay.
But I do want to say that, you know, about the meat, dairy, and egg industry, like, it is like terribly, terribly cruel, the standard practices of meat, dairy, and eggs. So
yeah, I'm with you right there. I'm with you right there. The standard practices are horrible. What I do is, you know, I eat very little red meat, for example, and when I do, I try to know exactly what farm is it coming from, where I could drive and see what are the conditions.
Yeah, and that farm will still do what is standard practice because it's standard practice. What you think the farm you go to kills them in a more special way than the factory farm? No, that they'll kill them the same. It'll be shot in the head and a slit throat, the same as the factory farm. Why do you think they do anything any differently?
I think that, like, for example, the, I'm on pasture-free stuff where I know exactly where it's coming. You know, I'm doing certain things for myself.
Also, no, he isn't, by the way. No, he isn't. He goes and eats at burger restaurants. He goes and eats at takeaways. He doesn't. People who say this, they don't live like this. I promise you they don't. It's complete nonsense.
I agree with you. The standard practice.
Not that it matters, by the way. I'm just pointing it out as it's a really pathetic cope that they do to people when they get called out, and it's just complete nonsense.
Are terrible. You and I are on the same page.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and then just to touch on like the resource intensive subject that you brought up.
Yeah.
So actually, when you really look into the amount of resources required that it takes to produce, like raise livestock and breed these animals and then raise them to slaughter weight for meat and then also for dairy and eggs, when you look at how much water and crops and resources are needed for all these different kind of animal products,
Yes.
it is just like unbelievably intensive on the environment. And
You're
just
absolutely right.
weight
You're
and volume of
absolutely
these
right.
crops. Like if you've ever
Well,
seen
if he's
cows,
absolutely right, then how is it that you didn't know that 5 minutes ago when you started rambling about all the plant-based agriculture stuff? You know he's right that it's worse. So this is how he controls the conversation. This is kind of a tactic of his, basically.
conspiracy, like they that's a documentary free on
Yeah,
Netflix
I'm
or
familiar with it.
YouTube, like, they
Cowspiracy,
go into
I
all that
saw
stuff.
it, and
So
Cowspiracy is fine, but it's also
just wanna
lacking
respond.
a lot of context and information. What you also have to consider is if we replace all of those products, what are they replaced with to meet certain caloric needs? It ends up being a very small number of things that can do it, which generates monocultures. That's very bad for the environment in new and other ways. Jay, I got to run. I've given you almost 10 minutes.
Dude,
I know we're
I just
not going to agree,
one more for
okay?
you. Just one more. I just want to say, like, okay, about the amount of crops, like it's always less crops to eat a plant-based diet. That's first of all. So if you want to talk about crop deaths,
Good that he got
there'll
that in.
always be less crop-related deaths on a plant-based diet. But you still haven't answered the question: is how do you justify eating meat, dairy?
You know what's funny? I mean, before we keep going, this guy, the caller's doing well right now. This David, he just lied. David Packman just lied. He said, I've given you almost 10 minutes. No, he gave him 7 minutes. And most of that was him talking. The other guy barely got anything in there. So, no, he didn't give him 10 minutes at all. That was 3 minutes is a significant amount of time when you're doing this kind of thing. He gave him 7 minutes. So if you're going to give him 10, give him 10. And it looks like they do go on a bit. But that was a really low blow. It's because he realized he was losing. So he's like, okay, let's stop then. That's really weak.
In eggs when there is a victim involved, and you said that
I'd
you
have
don't,
to
you have
think
never
about how I
spoken to a
talk to
cow.
the cow, Jay. I told you, I think that those
Well, talk to
questions are
me because I want
philosophical.
to talk on the cow's behalf. The cows are dying for
All
their
right, then.
decision to put the
Jay,
milk in your
I've
coffee.
given you
So I
more
just want
time
to
than I
know.
give anybody. I got to let
How
you
do
go,
you-
okay?
All right, well, think about it, David.
All
Thanks
right,
for
I'll
taking
think
my.
about that. Thank you. Boy, see, this is why when I saw the user was Jay Vegan, I almost got away from it. But I do regret that.
Yeah, of course you do, because you looked like an idiot, mate. You gave him not 10 minutes, you gave him 7 minutes, then you cut him off, and then you're going to chat shit about him when he's gone. He was calm and reasonable, and you dodged his questions multiple times. Oh my lord, that is so sad.
I do regret that. As many of you know, I'm a busy person. I don't always have the exact correct nutritional plan for my meals every
And now
single
he's promoting
day.
some.
But since last
You
year,
are such a douchebag, man. Oh my god. Anyway, look. So 800 upvotes, 598 downvotes. So this is interesting because this probably isn't loads of vegans. The fact that David had to mock the caller by saying he hasn't had a conversation with a cow shows how uncomfortable he is with this subject. Damn. David is usually so well informed, but here he doesn't have a clue. He obviously hasn't read a lot about this, and he's been disrespectful to the caller who never said he should talk to cows. These people don't look like vegans as well, you know. David, you ignored a key point. The monocrops are already being used to feed all the animals we farm. 80% of all the farmed crops are used to feed the animals. We could eat those crops instead of feeding them to animals we farm. Animal agriculture is by far the most resource. I guess it's going to be like intensive or whatever. Yes, good. This was embarrassing on your part. You were factually wrong about a number of things, condescending and being deliberately obtuse. Man, the comments are going in on him here. Look at this. David does not understand that it takes more crops to feed 70 billion animals plus 8 billion humans than it would just to feed 8 billion humans. Absolutely. I'm concerned because if you are this uninformed about being a vegan, how uninformed are you on other subjects? Damn, the vegans are doing him good here. This is by the way, the caller did a great job. I don't know who that caller was, but rocky start, but you smashed it in the end, by the way. So if anyone knows who that caller was, you could send them this clip, and hopefully it'll make them feel good about it. Sorry, David, I'm not even vegan or vegetarian, but everyone seems to agree. You didn't exactly raise good points here. How this looks to me, David is not only wrong about the issue, which is okay, but also disrespectful to this person, which is not okay. You got smashed in the What? This is embarrassing from your side. Your callous, flippant, uninformed Fox News type attitude to this caller was a monumental letdown to most of your viewers, as shown in your comments. Would like to see you post a follow-up video addressing your audience's reaction to the things you said here. Damn. Incredibly glib response. How would I apologize to a cow? If someone asked you how would you justify punching a 3-month-old baby, would you say, what am I supposed to say to a baby? Great question. Dude, these comments are giving me hope in humanity, you know? Because it's not often you see people really... These can't all be vegan, right? Seem pretty bad faith by David. So these seem like his viewers, and they're disappointed in him. So disappointed. First video I ever saw of him, but I'm shook that a grown man has so little knowledge about agriculture and basic physical understanding. Bloody hell, hey? Can we please acknowledge that David is the one who introduced the imagery of talking to a cow and then mocked the caller for it a few minutes later? I missed that. That is a really good point. That is a really good point. Go vegan for that animal here. I think this is one of our team, right? You might be here in the live chat. I like your show because you will share content even when it makes you look uninformed and cruel toward animals. Veganism to me is about minimizing suffering of sentient beings, and then it gets cut off. I don't know why it's cutting them off, but yeah, good. Vegans 1, David 0. All right, guys, we have a new mission. Get David to admit he was wrong here. Damn. Comments here are awesome. I hadn't realized so many of David's viewers were pro-vegan. Whilst David's attitude was extremely disappointing, his viewers' opinions are an absolute joy to read. Agreed. Agreed. Damn, this is really good that because he was terrible. This was cringy. Talking to the cow statement was condescending, and you ignored the question entirely, which is, how is it morally correct to take life for a food when you can choose to get food elsewhere without the suffering? You hopscotched all over the question. He did, and then he just cut it off, huh? And he just cut it off. That is weak sauce, man. That is weak. Well, hopefully he didn't sell any athletic greens, mate. Isn't that just the face of the whole thing? Bloody hell, bro. That's embarrassing. Do better, man. Well, do better is not really enough of a thing to say. I'll go further than that. Listen, if you don't know, you don't know. Just say you don't know. Your viewers will respect you more if you just say, I don't know. I'm not too sure. I'll look into that. And then come back and say, hey, I've looked into it, and here's what I think. Don't sit there and scramble and mock the caller, and especially if they are being good faith. If they're being bad faith, if the caller was being shitty, then it's just like, listen, I don't know what the answer, and you're being shitty. And I guess he thought the caller was being shitty. In his eyes, it was shittiness. But everybody's like, no, he wasn't, though. He was being totally reasonable. So, okay, I'll give David something. In his defense, he might have felt like it was shitty, but maybe in the moment it felt like that, and then he realized later on it wasn't. Easy mistake to make, and then you should just come out and say, hey, look, maybe that wasn't the best, right? Fine. But I don't know. Maybe he knew that it was fine, and he just didn't want it. He was just getting embarrassed, so he cut it off. Pretty much how I think it went. Thank you, Veg90, for sending that over. David Packman, maybe I'll call into his show if he still does that, but I'll have to make sure he doesn't know I'm a vegan, because I guess he'll never do that again after that inhumane slaughter that just went down. So yeah, but guys, hope you had a good time today. I'll do my best to get some more streams in, because we've got some busy times coming up. Be traveling a little bit. I've got something very exciting coming up. I will tell you, I am going on a conservative podcast, a very conservative podcast. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. They invited me on, and it's happening. So that's happening next week, and that's what I'll be up to then. Very interesting times. I'll be the first vegan they've ever had on, and they've got a pretty sizable following, 300,000. So, who knows how this will go. That's cool. So over the next week, been moving around a little bit. Actually going to be in the UK. Okay. UK. So that's going to be happening. And So we'll try and get some streams in while I'm there. It might be difficult because where we're staying and stuff, internet connection, stuff like that. But I'll do my best, guys, because I love coming out here and hanging out with you and reacting to shit and, you know, doing all that fun stuff. And what else do I got to tell you? Keep an eye out for the video I've got coming up with Christspiracy co-creator Cam Waters, which I'm very excited to show you. Very interesting conversation we had. And also, guys, to remind you, you get the full interviews, unedited interviews, or very minimally edited interviews by joining the Patreon, joining the YouTube memberships team. All right, guys. If you join at the lowest level, you get video updates from me, which is pretty cool. If you join the level up from that, then that's where you get access to full interviews and stuff, which I think you'll really like. And it's my way of saying a big thank you to you guys, right? That I give you these updates and these longer interviews and stuff like that. And so we're going to do that a lot more moving forward, so I can make sure to give you guys some like really cool content that only you get to see because you're special. And the focus of the channel, it's obviously, I want to move in the direction of making videos that are more accessible for non-vegans. That's what we're doing here. So main channel videos, more accessible for non-vegans. Videos in the Patreon and the YouTube teams, specifically mainly for you guys, for vegans. And that way we can pivot and we can hopefully have a bigger impact in the world and change the world for animals and faster with your guys' help and making videos that appeal more to the non-vegan audience, right? Which is really difficult to do, to be honest, but I hope I can get there with your help, all right? So guys, check that out. Annie's put the links there for the Patreon and the YouTube team. Just click the join button right down here. And if you're not subscribed, I imagine some of you might not be subscribed. Hit that subscribe button and just, you know, subscribe. That'll be pretty cool, huh? And you get to see all the videos when they come out and all that good stuff. And I get a bigger subscriber count, so people think I'm successful, which is nice. Julie asks, are any new shirts coming? I have almost all of them. They're my favorites because they're the best made shirts. Super well made. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate that. Yeah, guys, you can check out my t-shirts, like the one I'm wearing, the Master of Puppets style one. You can check them out on my website, which is davidrams.com. Go and check them out over there. I haven't got plans yet for any new ones, but who knows? Maybe New Year might have some new designs. Let's do that. I'll put an aim in for a new line for the new year. I'll try and put some stuff together. If any of you guys got any ideas for any cool t-shirts that I could make, actually, I think a couple t-shirts that I've made have been from your ideas. So just email me, or if you're on the Patreon team, DM me, message me on Patreon, or you could try to get me on Instagram, but it's a bit messy over there. So Patreon's best. Number one, email second if you have some ideas for t-shirts. And we got some really cool ones there already, though, so go check it out, davidrams.com. Guys, it was lovely, as always. Keep being the legends you are, yeah? And I'll catch you all in the next one.